Hello and welcome to this special edition of well, I guess we're going to try a new mini campaign of using D&D 5e to see if it's compatible with roleplay. Was a proposal from Zonalar there. So hello Zonalar. And in that
Hello.
game we're going to be joined by maybe Nicolas Carmago that just like decided to go away. And yeah, Crep for the first time on this channel. Hello guys.
Good to finally hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have like new blood as well, right? Like we try often time to say like, you know what, if you want to join, yeah, there's opportunity and stuff like that. But like, few people seems to want to take it. I don't know what happened to
Yeah,
Nicholas.
absolutely. The rumors about role playing in 4D in Dungeons and Dragons has been around for a while. We've all said basically it's like it's not possible. It does not compute. It's like, well, have we tried though? That's the question. And I figured it's the best chance as any to both restart role playing for me, because I've been on break since December, pretty much. Like a couple of sessions fell through.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in January, so it's almost been 3 months by now.
Yeah, and you're gonna be the one running that game, Zon?
That's correct. I will be the game master. To
and
yeah.
we did discuss a few things in the background, right? Some idea about setting and stuff like that, but we didn't set up anything. I don't want to go too much into it right now, like because I want to give like a chance for Nicholas to come back. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. He should return at some point, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like he's also offline, so there's probably some internet issue on his end.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. Let me take a let's buy in some time. Other years back, see people in hello Elf Hunter and do those squash. Say like it's Valentine's, not April's Fool. Well, no, we're serious about it. Mr. Max is a gay wizard, confirm. Like, don't spoil my character. Oh God, grow the beard back. Well, it will at some point. Hello, Full Metal Slate, Big Bad. Feels Mr. Max looks like he had buttocks treatment and medium length suave hair. Yeah.
Is that a compliment, Phil? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Why not? Well, maybe like I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. That's not what we are for. So there you go. I got my books ready and all.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So
I never bought
that brings up a good point. You mentioned sort of keeping this limited to the 2014 core rule books, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that kind of limits some of the options that we have as far as, because I guess the idea was that we were going to be either all monsters or all orcs or something like that.
Those are the same thing, orcs or monster. Like, yeah, and, that's something we can discuss, right? Because that was something that was thrown around, right?
Yes.
And obviously, if we decide like to want to play orcs or monster or stuff like that, we might have to get some supplement or some homebrew stuff, or make our own, or make some kind of like a. But I think before we go into that, before going setting and premise and stuff like that, do we need to discuss like the social contract, the other stuff that we need to talk about, since we're a new group technically?
Absolutely. So the point is, right, to limit the amount of information we have to keep track of, because we try to be immersive in our role play. The more rules we add, the more difficult it becomes. So we start with the core rule book, and if we end up playing, I want to play Minotaur, then we can take the supplement that has like some monster examples, which does exist. I do have the rule books. I can share them in private, so you know what that monster would look like for a player character. But all of that is like secondary order effects for me. first order effects, like do we all understand the core rules and the premise of the setting and the social contract before all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Wanna launch us into it, or like I wrote down the one from the Discord, so I have it like open on a Google Doc to look at.
There you go. Put you in the driver's seat.
Yeah, we can use it as a template, and if anything needs to be edited, we just change it.
Yeah, trying to figure
So we're
out
gonna
how
try.
I can. Yeah,
Yeah, you can do a present, and I'll put it on screen. Yeah, there you go. Can you zoom in on that
yes.
so we can read?
How do I
Control
zoom?
plus. Control plus.
All
It's
right.
readable now.
Yeah, that's readable.
Okay. A stable internet, so we can see each other. Check easy. The audio function webcam looks good. Pretty much. Like, is there anything that you see we actually need to talk about? The play, like the dice rolls on screen. I mean, I know, like for Yekrep, we can look into this. I've sent you the link for that big bad RPG made for Sophie's Dice. So, and of course, we will help you as much as we can. If you have any questions or something doesn't work, don't do not hesitate.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, in character game session, out of character talking is not permitted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the whole 4D approach. I just assume all of the viewers who will watch this know that. Do we have to talk about it? I guess Yekrep is new, but I know you've been watching with interest for a while. All right. GM does not move characters, and I avoid second-person narration. So I try my best to not say, you see a roguish figure in a black coat in the corner. I'll just say, a roguish figure in a black coat is in the corner. You decide if you look in that direction. I avoid, you feel fear sink into your bones as the dragon swooshes above your head. So a massive 12-foot-long dragon swooshes above your head. And if that does not instill fear in your character, it's up to you to roleplay, right? Like little fire-spewing puppy. Or, some... that's like classic example of players who play at Dwarf. Things that make everybody else afraid, and then the player pipes up. His dwarf would never be afraid of such a thing. Because he knows hardship.
Mm-hmm. Those are good so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go to some interesting choice.
Yeah, choice. Who narrates failed skill checks and successful skill checks? Did we ever figure this out, Nicholas? I think like we went back and forth.
It was per game. Whenever we played, we would decide on session 0. It was not we never had like a base or forgot the word now.
We never standardized.
Yeah, standard. Yeah. I don't think I've been in a game where I narrated my own failures though. So I personally would be interested in doing that. I think it would be interesting.
What about if you what about like the way I like to do it, and right? It's like the player narrate the result of their dice.
Everything, right? Failures, successes.
Yeah. The GM describe like the result of his dice roll, right? And what happened in the world and the what an NPC does. When you roll dice, it's kind of on you, right? Then GM's gonna tell you if you succeed or fail.
I think it would be interesting to do that. Like I will, of course, in the scope of my character, whatever pertains to the outside, like the world, that the GM will hop in, right? And add like
Yeah.
the
And
effects, but that could be interesting.
and I'm okay usually when that's the way I like it, and I say like, and then when I'm GMing, right, that's the way I like it, and I say like, and if you draw a blank and you don't come up with anything, then the GM is ready to step in, right, to fill. But it's like on you to describe like you have the first reply. What do you think of that, guys?
I could do
Yeah,
that.
correct.
There's this thing, especially with a history check or a persuasion check of, well, do I role play first and then roll dice, and then the dice are not not how I role played it. It makes me look like an idiot, basically. The dissonance, or do I roll the dice first and then role play it? And like both ways, I don't feel like super comfortable in either choice. I feel like there's wiggle room for both cases. Which ones feels more natural?
I prefer when you kind of roll the dice first, right? Or you can like start describing what you're doing, roll the dice, and like aim your direction in the direction of the dice roll. Because what I don't like
Yeah,
is the retcon, right? You describe something good that you do, or so, and then like you roll
you're having
badly,
a
and it
good
go bad.
yeah, you have a good conversation. There's a back and forth, and the NPC looks malleable. Then you roll the persuasion, and it's a 2. And
Yeah,
he says, no. It's like, after all this groundwork laid out, a flat no. That just feels horrible to play out.
I think especially with D&D where it's a D20, so it's kind of chaotic.
Mhm.
It would be
Yeah,
better to roll first and role play after.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then
I
again,
agree.
like if there's this situation though, that if I as a player think that I can just do something without rolling, and then the GM asks me for a roll, then
Yeah.
yes, then the roll is gonna come after. But that's oftentimes gonna be like due to reaction of the NPC or stuff like that, right? Like the persuasion example is a good one. I might think that I might just be able to persuade this guy because I'm making a good case, but then the GM say no, you actually make a roll, and but then like
Mm.
he can role play his NPC accordingly.
yes. The way what I use as my personal guide is always having the player role play all of the things he does. Like, I draw an arrow from my quiver and send it to the soldier's head. Like, as soon as the arrow leaves his string, it's no
Hmm.
longer part of his character. And I describe the arrow is deflected off his sword, spins into the sky as the failure condition. Because obviously he wants to hit. He rolled a failure, like he rolled an 8. He still wants to describe how he does it, and I don't want to negate how he does it. It's all of the influences outside of his control that happens. Like, you swing the sword at his neck, right, to break in and draw blood, chop his head off, but you might still fail after you described it. So that, yeah, descriptions to allow room for failure if it's on the table. Otherwise, there's no call for a roll.
You describe the charge and going for the blow roll, and then you, based on that, you go ahead and Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by like the roles kind of come in the middle, right? In the middle of the
Yeah.
description. You don't
Yes.
like you say like, oh, I grabbed my sword. You can I think most people here, me excluded, are kind of smart enough to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, right? So you can like start saying like, oh, I grab my sword and I swing to it, like, and then like you make a roll while you're speaking, and then like you can interpret the roll, and especially if you, oh, how do you want to do with the AC stuff for fighting?
There is your tool, right? Would that work? The one you made?
Yes, that would work.
Was that a
Uh,
plugin?
No, it's a web tool.
I mean,
It's a web.
Yeah, ACs. Usually you roll and tell me your number, and I say hit or miss, or I describe if it's you strike, or you blow lands, or he deflects your attack. Or what we could do, I throw up the number, at which point you gain the meta knowledge of what armor class you have to hit, which
you could
usually changes the
could-
behavior of the
Sorry.
players.
So, what you could do then, because the number doesn't really matter. All I need to know is if the attack bypassed the defense. So
Yes.
I roll, I can just look at you, wait for a nod, or like, it hits, and then I go ahead, or I think that could work just fine.
Like I'm I mentioned before, right, that I'm that is the tool we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
You could
this
just
too.
be
Yes.
like, well, you need a 14 to hit, right? Although it only goes up to 14, which can be a bit low for D&D.
Yeah, that's not
But
gonna.
I could
14
amend
is
it.
very low.
I could amend it easily, right? Just like something like I can do this week. Just doesn't take much time at all, and then you can just hide it.
Okay.
And you don't need it. If you want to use that, right? Just like, and you can call it whatever you want, like AC. And AC 14, there you go.
If it,
Yeah,
But-
if you have
Go
a
ahead,
tool,
go
it
ahead.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's one way that can be done.
Mhm.
I understand like the problem with the meta knowledge with revealing the AC to the player, right? But that's never something that bothered me, to be honest. Like, yes, it does take something away a bit, but for me the trade-off is very much so worth it for
Yeah.
just the speeding up the game, right? You can just say
Sure.
like you say the first time, right? This guy you're fighting, the AC is like 15, whatever,
Yeah.
and I can just make my roll and roll straight in the description without having to wait for the GM to
Yeah,
nod or not, right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
anyway,
Absolutely.
like after a few rounds, we're gonna figure out the AC anyway. So like what you gain from like
Mhm.
obscuring it, it's so
There's like you gain a little bit of suspense, but also you avoid the players like crashing out. Like his AC is 19 again. Oh my god! It's like
Yeah.
fifth creature. But we all agree that we are saying in
Yeah,
character,
we're
so
not- we're gonna-
that's not a
that's
problem.
not going to be a problem for us.
There's a little bit of a in-character knowledge to it though as well, because if you strike at this dragon's scales with your sword, and your sword bounces off of his scales because they're so hard, that's in-game knowledge that your character would have as well.
Yes.
It can kind of explain why you're
Mhm.
maybe adjusting.
or
your
even when you look at a person, right, and you know your fighter, like, and you who you wore armor, like you see
Mhm.
guy like in full plate and stuff like that, you kind of know what
You
kind of
should
how well
expect,
protected he is, right? And
Yeah.
and then you can see that you can tell how well he moved, right? So it's not like
Yeah,
keeping it secret for me. It's
Mhm.
never like something that was
There
worthwhile.
are
Uh-huh.
a couple of effects in D&D specifically, like you have stuff like layer actions, or I think like
Yeah.
villain actions that say,
Right.
oh, this attack you did, it didn't hit because he's the big bad boss, he's just awesome. Or as spells like I think it's magic barrier, the magic shield, you throw it up as a reaction, you would hit, you would hit, I threw up the number, but then he casts the shield, like you want to describe your strike, but I interrupt you,
Mhm.
and that which is part of the game. So there's like several opportunities to interrupt each other that we kind of have to think about if it's possible or not. So
I think
it doesn't.
I think you can interrupt, right? If I'm doing the attack and like now I roll my dice and I you told me the AC, so I know with it, and I'm
Yeah.
in the description, you can like I think you could interrupt me, and then I would shut up because I get what you're doing, right? Maybe I would, right? Just like for me, it's
Yeah.
like half and half. But like, and
Yeah,
then like
yes.
you can just describe what the NPC is doing, right? Or he's taking a step back and raising his arm, and there's a field of energy like in front of him, whatever, right? You
Yeah.
want to describe that, right?
That's the little piece of like tension of, oh, let's trying not to step on each other's toes while streaming across the sea, basically, to each other with this like 1 second, 2 second delay.
Yeah.
Which like at the table it's much easier. Online, it and we try not to retcon like, oh, you say how you lob his head off, and I say, actually, he raised a magic shield that deflect your blow.
But I think those are kind of edge cases too, no? They're
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if
we
we
are.
Like
take-
us,
sorry, Nicholas.
reaction spells are common. They can happen regularly, and other situations you move out of combat range, and he takes his reaction to strike at your open, to take an opportunity to attack.
Can you remind me how does reaction work in 5e? Is it literally like I will interrupt you mid-sentence? I'm asking this because don't that fall into what we just described as you describe the initiation of your action, you roll, and then you act on that? Wouldn't the reaction just go after that anyway? Or after the roll? Like,
So I think that there has to be a common understanding of when these reactions are known to occur, and I think everyone should be on the same page as far as like when you leave a threatened area, you provoke an opportunity attack.
Yeah.
If you're attacking a spellcaster, there's a chance that they'll have a reaction to cast a shield spell, things of that nature. Counterspell.
Yeah, I think that's
Parry.
that's a good approach, Crip. It's like we kind of like we kind of like as player like need to know when there's an opportunity for reaction, and sometime like the thing is like we need to cover something. I mean, a system that's going to cover like 85%, 90% of the case. That's good, right? Just like
Yes.
there's always going to be edge cases. We cannot have
Like
bad
we
everything.
don't have to worry about the spell magic, which is the reaction to negate the spell being cast. Since we are not level 5, nobody will be level 5, and the enemies will not be level 5.
okay,
Unless I really
Can I-
want to
can-
bully you guys, you know, it's, unless you mess with the wrong wizard.
Yeah.
In which
And also,
case,
like,
I'll just snap my fingers and it goes up in smoke.
in 5e the reaction also like they're it's like a stack, right? It's not like one after the other. It's like the last in is the first out. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah, so you resolve the thing that occurred last.
Yeah.
So you could counterspell a counterspell.
Yes, that like by the rules, that's totally possible. Which is
didn't
weird.
understand
Like
that, but-
people do that, and it
You don't
makes the
understand that?
game a bit lame, but it happens.
It's like if character A, like if I make an action and then you Crep make a like that provokes a reaction from you Crep, then his reaction is resolved before my action. But his reaction could provoke a reaction from you, and then your reaction will be resolved first, and then you Crep, and then my action.
And when nobody says they have another reaction on your reaction, on his reaction, on the action,
We're gonna
but
have
I
a-
think
we can
that's
resolve
what you
Yeah,
said,
it.
we gotta
a Rube
we gotta
Goldberg.
rule zero that, man.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
What? No, but it's like that's what
And-
I'm saying. Like a stack of paper, right? In a pile. Yeah, like somebody put the paper there, and somebody else put his paper on top. Well, you have to clear this one before you can go to the next one under.
Okay. Clear as
A
water.
classic-
Thank you.
A classic point is an attack, but you have a feature that allows you to interrupt his attack to do your damage first. Some weird edge cases have that. I don't remember of any from the top of my head, but a classic example is like one of the feats that you can have called the Sentinel. That if
Okay.
somebody walks into melee range with you, and you was it Sentinel? Yes. No, if somebody walks out of your range, you immediately can attack, and if you strike him, you stop him or something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a action reaction? No, opportunity attack?
Opportunity
which-
attack can attack
Technically
somebody
not, but-
walking out of your range, but with the Sentinel, if you hit, they cannot move. Their movement is negated.
Ah, okay, so you lost. Okay.
I'm just on gentleman's rules. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that I'm not gonna take any cheesy stuff like that on a character. I'm just gonna make it
You
easy
want
for
Yeah.
everybody.
So
Like-
those are the kind of rules that makes combat exciting for some players because now you have some toys to play with.
Yeah, I
And
think that's
if
something
you-
we will need to talk about as well, like optional rules and
Yes.
stuff like that. Which one? Because like
Yes.
feats technically are optional rules as well. So do we want to go there or not? That's something we. But
Yes.
maybe we need to solve this other thing. Like
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge
Yeah.
later.
Okay. We can go back to the sheet then. So
Yeah,
I
let's
wrote
go
in
back to-
players narrator actions. I'm pretty fine. Like we leave it open, and I want to allow the players to talk as much as possible, unless
We
I
take
think like
take the S out of narrate.
it narrates their actions.
It's because it's plural. Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Thank you.
Look, Mr. Max is the one to point that out. Look at that. That's character development there.
Yeah.
Real life character
So-
development.
I want players to narrate their success as much as possible, unless it's like the PC, how the NPC reacts to your success. Like you make the success, and I know it's a success, and then I role play the NPC being impressed, giving you extra money, opening the bedroom door for you, like lighting the
So-
candles, like however you want the success to look
Pulling
like.
up the sheet, stepping in the.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Dropping his loins.
I want to tell like also like let's say in an attack, right? If I swing my axe at somebody, I roll my dice, I know I'm above the EC, I describe that I hit, right? Like how far do I go? Like do you describe the damage received? Do you like that should be, I guess, part of the NPC reacting to your action, right? Because then like I don't know how much damage, like I don't know if it's significant damage or not, right? So I can say like, oh, I come to the guy, I swing my axe, hit him.
Perhaps.
Well, if he reaches like 0 hit points, right?
Yeah.
Then I can signal it to you, and I
Yeah.
don't want to use like coded language. I prefer to say something like "it's a death blow," and
Yeah.
you describe the death blow. One feature of D&D is your attack, melee attack specifically, reaches 0 hit points on the enemy. You can decide if it actually kills him or not. Like, are you like stalling your blow as you realize his life is in your hands, so to say?
Do you how do we interpret hit point? Or hit point like more abstract, or is it like every little scratch you get is a chip of a hit point?
That's the thing with D&D, because it has levels. I always preferred hit points to be your endurance.
Stamina. Yeah.
Stamina. It's
I agree
how
with that.
strong you're breathing, how much sweat is built up, or how many cuts you can take before you fall. So when you reach 0 is the moment where the strike is a huge gash.
So
But that's
even if I like I roll my damage, I do like I get a good roll. It doesn't mean that I'm like chopping into him and the blood is gushing. It just mean like I'm
Yeah.
draining him out a lot and
Yes.
firing him and
Trips over. Yeah.
If we do there, I have to check, because there are rules to make things a bit more gritty, like
Mhm.
a critical strike and now your arm is gone, which would go both
Yeah.
ways.
yeah, I don't think we should go there.
Yeah, because there is already a mental toll by playing 5e. I don't think we should stack more on that, you know? It
We're
sounds
already-
cool, but yeah.
We're making it already too hard on ourselves. Let's not make it worse. All right.
All
Does
right.
that sound good to you, Mr. Max?
Yes. Yeah. What about you guys?
So HP will
I'm on
be
board.
like exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
Exhaustion is a different mechanic too, by the way.
Well, yeah.
You just started to use
Just
a
so
good
you're
word.
aware.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's your
so
stamina.
just so what on the HP thing? What got decided is I swing my hammer, the deals whatever 6 point of damage. I just described like I swing good, and then you go ahead and say if he got hit or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it's a direct hit, you do the full, strike him across the chest, or
Yeah.
you do get the hit in, but it's
You-
not
Okay.
a,
yeah.
it's, unless
So it
I
will
say it's
connect.
like a death
So if
blow.
it deals damage, it does connect. The weapon disconnect.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it likes like, oh, we're changing strike. I'm pushing him back. I hit him on the because also like when you roll for attack, right? It's not one swing. It's like you
Yes.
exchanging blow with the guy, right? And technically the guy is
Oh,
fighting
okay.
against
In
you
my
as
head,
well,
I've
right?
always thought like like a
Around a 6
turn-based
second.
thing.
You're not standing there. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 6 seconds. So it's a whole like
It's a clash.
altercation.
Yeah, exactly. The dice roll
Okay.
is all
Yeah.
like the exchange of like I'm trying to hit him, and then like so you can be like I'm pushing back, I'm chipping away like a few blow here and there, and then GM can go like
I'm more used to
yeah,
in
and
games
some
where it's
blood
like
start like
it's a half
leaping from his
second
plate.
thing.
Yeah.
The only hang up I have about treating hit points as sort of endurance stamina is that you can technically get into these weird situations where you have one hit point left and then a cat scratches you and
Yeah.
now you're unconscious.
Yeah,
You know,
Oh yeah.
toxoplasmosis.
exactly. Just to combat from Texas.
You were so
Yeah.
vulnerable. The cat sneaks up on you, scratches over your
Yeah.
neck,
It splits your throat with
and
its
you're on the
claws.
floor.
The other hang up I have with that is like fall damage and stuff like that. Like, and now we're getting into like the problem that 5e has. Like it's kind of inconsistent with what the mechanics are telling you what are or what how things are. So we kind of like to make a call on that, I guess. It's kind of like a mix of both. That's the thing, right? It's kind of like it's both kind of like how drained you are and how injured you are, and we kind of like to find the middle ground in that, right? It's not like purely
Yes.
one or purely the other. Same
Okay,
thing with
so
AC, right? AC is both like how the armor you're carrying, but also like you fighting back and stuff like that, and you like being active in the fight. So like a lot of like mechanic in D&D are kind of like two things at the same time, and we kind of have to juggle both, right?
uh, can we try to like set a standard by going like let's do two extremes. Like let's say like a guy punches me and a dragon breathes fire into me, and both like on the dice do I don't know 6 damage. Like so, it is connecting. We agreed on that, right?
Yes.
But shouldn't this just like the fire should be more impactful than getting punched, shouldn't it?
That's one of
If they both do the same damage,
then it
Yeah,
was
like
really big fire, Then it was
like
like,
I just lost my eyebrows. Like
well,
know?
if the dragon breathe fire on you
Yeah.
and just do like 5 damage, like it's probably like you got cinched a bit, right? Like I don't know why.
Okay.
Like,
This is a chafing.
We'll have
Okay.
to, I think everyone has to have sort of an understanding of what kind of injuries are genuinely life-threatening and what kind of injuries
Yeah.
are superficial and you can walk it off or patch yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
that's,
Yeah,
I mean, I do like,
that's a good point. And
you get a strike in, there's a cut. So it's not like the first 3 attacks are all just superficial. I want them to like stack up on top of each other. So I stab you with a spear, you're punctured. Like blood is drawing out. Or you get winded, but your chainmail stopped most of the blow. You lost 4 hit points, but you're still standing.
I guess also like
Well,
if a monster like stabbed the PC, right? Like it's probably gonna allow the player to describe the damage they receive as well, right? Just like and then
Yes.
you can
Okay.
guess like if you have like 8 hit point and you receive 6 point of damage, make
That's
make a
okay,
judgment
yeah.
call, right? Like this. You can describe the damage you receive like in a way that's like, well, that was a fucking big blow, right? And now like you am it up there, right? If you have like
Yeah.
60 hit point and somebody hit you for 3, then describe it in consequence. Like three damage shouldn't be described the
It's
same if you have like
relative.
5 hit point or like, you know what I mean?
That
It's
is the part
relative
of
to okay.
that is the part of like experience. You become more
Mhm.
experienced fighters, adventurers.
Yeah.
The things that killed you before, now you can shake off. Like a leaf on your
And
shoulder.
also like you're harder like you're better at fighting back and stuff like that. You get more endurance, you get more resilience and stuff like that. So like it's not like like I'm level 1, you stab me in the gut with a spear, I die. But if I'm level 12, you can stab me like 12 times in the gut with a spear. No, like you can try. You're gonna try 12 times to stab me in the gut with a spear, and one of them is gonna hit, right? And then I die, right? And the other one is
Yeah, I
gonna be
think that maybe this my question will go into something we might discuss later, but how like epic fantasy, because like depending on the vibe of the setting, like I can get a spear like through me and keep fighting and like live to tell the story. But if we're doing like something more realistic, more greedy, like that should be a fatal wound. So I don't know if you want to discuss that now or leave it for the setting later on.
I think
What do you mean?
I think the epicness of or do
Yeah.
you want to be like anime character, right?
Yeah, like like rains fall, arrows rain on you, and like still fighting, like looking like a porcupine.
Yeah.
That pretty much like this type of tone is determined by the level you're at.
Yeah, I think
Because-
that should be discussed like in drink setting and tone when we talk about
Okay,
later.
so we'll
Yes.
we'll
But it's a
shove
good
that for now.
point too. Yeah.
So I wanted to write down like hit points represent like how much you can take in a way. Is that like a good overall?
It's wordy, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, are we doing the 0 HP or dead? Are we doing the save rule? I don't like much the save rules because we got 3 chances, right? I think it should be just 1, if anything.
I want to talk about that, but I want to go through those. Let's speed through those other points
Let's go
before
through the
because
points.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about optional rules and stuff like that. But I want to kind of make it like
Yeah.
a section on its own, right?
Yes. Keep it in your head for later.
The
So,
other point, I think we can blast through pretty fast.
Yeah. Players' turns are brief, typically include location, what your action is, and character speech. I say where I am, what I do,
Yeah.
and what I say.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
we agree on that.
We've all done it. I guess we're just looking at Yakrep. Like, do you understand the premise?
I tell you what, I will chime in if I object to something.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Perfect. We will find out the hard way, basically. Okay. Character dialogue is consistent with the game setting. I mean, that just means like no weird references, no fourth wall breaking.
No modern
dialogue.
day slang.
I don't say no cap.
Yes.
I cannot read the Medusa.
For real.
Okay.
Welcome to the Laughing Pig. What can I order you? Oh, I want a latte macchiato with like double sugar and a rainbow
gluten-free,
slushy, please.
vegan.
Do you have a vegan menu? It's like-
Yeah, but like also like keep it like in
Android.
kind of like normal language, right? You don't need to do like, oh, good day, good sir. Can you like forsooth, verily, I'm telling you that
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
It's like
All this,
I
normal.
would if
all
I
this
could,
practice
Max. but
conjugating
I-
thou, thee, thine, wasted.
if you can, I think it's awesome. I want to allow it and I want to encourage it because that's the kind of player I am. I
Oh, yeah?
really enjoy to like give a bit of showmanship in the role playing.
No.
As
That's
long
the
as it's
part
not
I really like.
distracting, right?
Yes.
So this
If
this
if I
is-
have to explain what I just said in normal English after I've said it, it's
Yeah.
failed in role playing, basically, in communication.
I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but what about setting related stuff to do with like the cosmology and deities and things like that? Is
Yeah,
it going to be like,
uh,
uh, oh my God, or is it going to be more like by the Morning Lord or something?
Both are fine, I think. No.
yes. Preferably, you want it to feel like natural in the game.
Yeah.
And if you have to really think about it, just go with the first one that comes to mind. And if like afterward you felt like, oh my god, felt a bit wrong for these people that have like no connection to a god, they have like 12 gods, then you can say, like this is a classic for the Dark Eye roleplay. They say by the 12th, because it is 12 gods. That would be their classic go-to.
Yeah. But I think the important point, like you mentioned, like if it feels natural, right? Like you want to be in the mindset of your
Yes.
character. So like what you say should come to you like naturally as you're reacting to the scene at the moment, right? To the like ideally you shouldn't be trying to pre-script what you're about to say, right? You should just like you just speak as your character. But
Yes.
yeah.
Don't sweat about it. And afterward, if you felt like, oh, this didn't sound so cool, then you can like adapt after. But go with the flow first, adapt after.
That sounded better in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're there like
No
cringing
lag
in your
too,
corner.
Player
Right.
etiquette. Avoid interrupting others. We
Yeah.
all do we all understand? If somebody doesn't understand that leave the call now.
That's me. I'm hosting this call.
What's in this section? Are we doing like the rotation thing?
Yes, I think
Turns?
we should, right?
Yes.
It's like we'll follow whatever StreamYard like sets up, like the order.
Well, we can
Because
adjust it
there's
as well, right?
initiative, right? We're gonna have to talk about that too.
Yes,
We
we're gonna
will
have to
come
talk about
there.
that. Yeah,
We will come
but
back
like
when we talk about the rules of the game.
from the round robin thing, right? I can arrange the order, so if like something we think is more fitting for some reason based on character and stuff like that, I can do that. I think we should try to remain in round robin because that's also ensure that everybody get their turn. And but we can like it's generally round robin, and I hope the
Yes.
GM is like not try not to take a turn after every other player, right? And but also like if a player directly interact with another, if a character directly interact with another character, then this other character can have a turn, so we can break the round robin there, and we can do like usually what we say with my other group, we say like we can allow to kind of two back and forth, and then be like good form to go back a bit in the round robin. I'll give a chance to the other character to say something, and if this other character is fine for this other interaction to continue, he can just anchor himself in the world, just like saying where he is and what he's doing during this time, and then like without being something meaningful, and that's a sign for the other guys say like, I'm fine, you can keep on doing what you're doing, right? I don't know if that's being clear or if it's too convoluted.
I got it.
I just
I
had a
got
quick
it.
look if my stream was going and realized I lost a subscriber while we started the stream. So
It's the first. Yeah.
it's like, why am I following this guy? Let's get out of here.
She's not pressing D&D. Gosh.
My God.
You can blame me. That's all right.
So we is that like are we going like mostly round robin?
I mean that's definitely a topic for the D&D rules.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the combat. Yeah,
I see it as like the game master. I want to like set the tone and the pacing, because I feel like that should be my responsibility. But if you can help with that, I'm I'm definitely grateful if you want to like share that burden, so to say.
Mhm.
So I don't have to worry about it that much. If it's combat, my goal was to make it more 4D. Initiative is rolled when it's like life or death situations,
Mhm.
and like whether or not it's your turn will decide the fate of your life pretty much. So I'm gonna call. I feel like I will sparingly call for initiative.
Oh, okay.
Like we will have combats without initiative, and then I feel like, oh, this could like. I feel like I'm actually gonna kill my players with this. We do initiative. And for NPCs, what I usually do is they go in one block, and if it's like more than 4 characters, they go in like 2 blocks that I intersperse between. So I don't do all NPCs individually on their dice rolls.
Mhm.
I keep them in like ranged melee or like west side bandits, east side bandits of the road.
Wait, I think we're gonna talk later about this, but just real quick, like, are we gonna do like? I guess we cannot control that much, but not mass combat, but like 10 characters in like in a big skirmish. I personally think it slows down everything way too much.
Yeah.
But
That is big.
like, I get that it could happen if you're
Yeah.
looking at narratively, like that could be a logical outcome of a situation.
What if we're to do like side initiative?
What's that? Side initiative?
Side initiative. Like
Good
bad
guys
guy
and bad guys.
roll and good guys roll, and then like we
Mhm.
decided which, or you are as a GM you can like, if like you have like one of us roll initiative, and then that determine like basically how many of the bad guys gonna act before us and how many is gonna act after us.
Yes. We could have initiative like a skill check, and the better the skill check, the more you get to act before I act. And if you roll like a 5 with your initiative, then the bad guys are gonna like
Yeah.
all get like the jump on you, get a stabbing in before you
But then
react to the situation.
that will allow us to just like kind of like in combat mostly keep the round robin thing. So like, and we can organize like the round robin like based on dex if we want. So like the more dexterous
Yes.
character goes first and the slower character goes last.
Yeah, it's like the problem initiative solves is everybody gets a turn, and it's
Yeah.
fair. The fast character acts first. The agile rogue, the hunter, they have the advantage. And especially, this is like particular to the rogue. You want your, what is it called? As a rogue, you do bonus damage if you're the first one to act in combat. Even like if you act before the enemy can act, you do more damage, like straight up. So the
Mhm.
rogue wants this initiative system to work in his favor. So if we do that,
It's
that's
all
like what I
combat,
have.
man.
Hmm?
That's what I have in the back of my mind
Yeah.
of the features of classes. I don't want to take them away. And if we do, then how do we substitute it with something that feels good for the player?
We could go with the, well, if we say that we do side initiative, but like the bad guy gonna be split based on how well we roll as the party, then
Yeah.
you could say that the rogue has a bonus damage on everybody that didn't act yet, or something like that, right? Just like maybe something like that. But like we could also just try to do like the classic initiative that we all roll, and then we go around like in order initiative, and then it goes back and forth between bad guys and PCs.
Yes.
I should say like between like NPCs and PCs, because I don't know if
I don't
which would be
think
the bad
it's
guy.
that like it drags out too long, but I've been in all of those games, and when I look at playing those games, it's been too long. They've all been too long, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I
And
want
I'm
to
gonna
play out a couple of those sessions by the rules, so you guys feel how it felt like, and if it confirmed everything we talked about, and then we change it up after.
Yeah,
my only
I would.
concern is that I'm a bit slow. Like I get lost of I lose track of the order like very quick. That's like a a neurological deficiency I have. I cannot keep track. That's why I was asking if we're gonna do big combat. So
Yeah.
I would need like I would be asking often, like not asking, but
Yeah.
I would need assistance to remember who's who, who's when.
Are you good at tracking initiative order,Znarar? Are you something you used to? You could just call the name of people when they're up, right? Just like go, oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Nicholas,
like
and then like
Dublin,
you know, it's the character name, right?
I have pen and paper, and it's not that hard for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate doing
Well,
that.
for some
Okay.
people.
Oh yeah, that's hell for me. Like
I've also done like 100 sessions playing and game mastering, like across all the videos and private games. 100 sessions, easy. So it's something I've cultivated.
yeah,
It's
you've
like,
got calluses on your hands already. With,
yes. The pen is like all penciled down to a nub.
So we is that what we agree on now? Like we're gonna try the very like basic initiative, the way it's like raw in the book, and see how thing turns out.
Yes,
Okay.
I want you to keep role playing as we did. You all do what you do, then I react to what you do. So you can start out with your swing, right? With the combat, with your attack. And then we do the damage, and then I call for initiative pretty much like directly after.
And that take care of the surprise, I guess.
Pretty much. That will also take care of the surprise. So
Yeah.
we have
It's all right.
situations like, you have like a standoff. Nobody really
Yeah.
knows if you want to get in a scrape. So I put my hand on my bow, like put an arrow on it, and you unsheath your sword like by a notch. You notch your sword, and the third guy like pulls his dagger out, and then it's like we roll initiative because both sides know. Oh, holy shit! Like what are we doing
Shit
here?
about to get real.
Yes, like building up the tension, and the role play, like
Mexican standoffs.
how you talk is gonna also be like, if you talk him down, it's like, yeah, he relaxes his arm, and then you say, and I pull out my dagger and lunge for his ribs. That's your surprise, or
Yeah, but
or
we're
you
all
roll
monsters,
a
so
stealth check, something like
Oh,
that.
that's not settled yet if we're a monster or not.
okay.
I feel like Mr. Max is gonna be a monster no matter what he plays.
Regardless, the real monster is within.
Yeah, he plays the human fighter, the real monster in the party.
Yeah. No, but like so okay, like I think we can do it. I think we can play like with initiative, like raw, and still manage to not have
Yeah.
45 minutes round.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can
And
do
it's
it.
gonna be,
Okay.
as soon as we have initiative, I'll just say other I will say the character names and refer
Yeah.
to you as the character names. So
As it should.
Ben, Bob, Tim, and Dylan. Then goblins. And try to help you remember your. Okay, it's like Ben's turn. Next turn is Bob. Next turn, Bob. Something
Right.
like that. And keep it.
Character
Try to minimize it, but we. I don't think I can remove it so that everybody stays in the game of what they want to do, of what's happening. We've had like getting lost in the sauce. 20-minute rounds, 45-minute rounds.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Character versus character is permitted. Fine.
Yeah. That's where the fun
I'm
happens.
good with
That's
it.
where
It's
that's
not
where I
my
have fun.
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
All players are expected to pay close attention to each other at all time.
I want to
Right.
say, like, Yekrip, are you okay if your character gets murdered by Nicholas in the nights because you slided him? Like, are you actually okay with that? Like, we talk about potential.
yeah, the possibility does not mean it will happen. It's like getting run over by a car. It could happen, but doesn't mean it will happen.
You're
I
the new
understand it,
guy,
and
so I want to give you the choice above everybody else. It's a max I don't care about. It's about you.
Yeah, like we're not like going out of our way just to do that, but if we're role playing the character, maybe the character would
And you ask a question, let him answer.
Sorry, man.
so there's a reason why it says character versus character, not player versus. Like I totally understand, and presumably when we decide who our characters are, we're going to come up with a reason why we're hanging out with each other, and so in theory we should already be in good
Speaking terms.
yeah, we're on good terms.
Yeah, business partners, a team, or you've been selected for higher purpose, or the money's just that good.
Conjoined plans.
No eating during the game, that's fine. Like anybody has a problem with that? Like anybody's enough of a fat fuck to have a problem with that? Whoa, how can I be like 2 hours without stuffing my face?
I have players, like real life players. We play all the time. It's like he's a real nice guy role playing games. Like he enjoys the fun with playing with people. But man, in a role playing game, he's like, wait, I can play a total dick asshole. I'm gonna do it.
Escapism.
This character, he's like a barbarian from like a hardcore metal tribe type deal. And I was a game master and gave him a cursed axe that speaks to him like to lob heads off and to stop anybody trying to take the axe away from him. Like it belongs to you. Don't ever let anybody get between us.
Like
so he
giving fire to humanity.
Yeah, so it was a huge problem. Nobody can take his axe away because he is the beefcake monster that will destroy you if you get between him and the cursed axe that ruins everything.
I don't know if you have that listed in below in the order convention, but I want to talk about the game we agreed it's on every other week on Saturday. Oh, there you go. You don't have it. All right. Oh, order convention. I see what you put there.
So this is from the Discord. So
yeah,
I wash my hands of this much.
Oh, there you go. John Tate sending $5. Thank you. Also, a Mercurius earlier sent $3 for a sticker, but there was a sticker I cannot put on screen.
Beautiful.
So thank you guys.
Oh.
Yep. What about to say? Yeah. Okay. B-week. Fortnightly would be the term because B-weekly is confusing.
Is it?
Why?
Because it means both twice a week and every other week.
I never thought about twice a week, but okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's...
That's good. I understand fortnightly too.
Yeah. And if somebody cannot make it for some reason, thing can happen. What's the rule there? Do we cancel the game?
You go die in a fire.
Or is the guy NPC? Is it
canceling the game because it's already we have to wait 2 weeks. It's already a big wait.
That would make a big gap between game.
Yeah, it will be a month. If you skip a game, it's a month.
If it's the first session,
sorry,
just delete. If it's the first session, just delete the guy out of the book. It never happened,
It's the first it's the first session. Yeah, if you miss next week.
Yeah. So I think that you guys are mostly accommodating to my schedule. So I'll just remind you guys that we agreed to do Saturdays fortnightly. I'm also available on the Friday and Sunday neighboring that Saturday. So if Saturday doesn't work and you guys want to push it one extra day to Sunday or pull it one day earlier to Friday, assuming that works for you guys, it should work for me.
I like that. I think that'd be okay. If somebody cannot make it, we can look to push to the next day over. And I would say that if that doesn't work for some reason, to be honest, my preference would just to be like we cancel for that week and like it's gonna be a month before game, but those games are streamed, so we can always go back and watch and get where we got. Right?
Yes,
Is that fair? Is that okay with everybody?
I think that's okay for me. Yeah, I always have trouble when a player misses out, and now I have to go do all of this heavy lifting
Yeah.
of how to make it work without the player, and then he comes back, and I'm like, well, that's even more work now. Like what? It stresses me out as a game master.
Yeah, and also like what I enjoy
Balls.
from those games, a lot of like the interaction between characters and stuff like that. So like if
Is the
like
best
just
part.
NPC in one, just like pretending is not there, or it's like zombie
You look
out.
over and
or,
it's the cardboard cutout of where a human used to be.
yeah,
Like a sock puppet, It's the
Yeah.
GM. Hey guys.
so I rather
Picture
like
of your girlfriend.
I'm not just there like to roll dice, right? I'm there to interact with, So
Yes.
if somebody can make it, life happens. We're all adult, and so
I can make it like I can spontaneously do a day early or a day later.
yeah,
I can push it
me
back.
too usually.
Like I can push
I can
back by
adjust.
1 hour. Like 1 hour later, but I cannot do later than that
Mhm.
for my own health.
Yeah, and we say that we aim for about 2 hour a session, or you want to go a little
Yes.
longer.
So my schedule it's 8 p.m. I can do
Yeah.
4-hour sessions. The 2-hour sessions is to like this is the time slot of
Mhm.
pure unadulterated role play that I want to allow.
Yeah.
What did I write down in the Discord, by the way? I'm a bit...
About my opinion on the length of the
Yes.
game, I feel like 2 hours is like a gold standard. Like 3 is fine, but like 4, yeah, at least for me, it is very exhausting. Like role playing because I'm in this constant state of mind of trying to be the. It gets very tiring. I don't know if
Yeah,
I could do 4.
I agree with Nicholas. Like 4 start to be a bit much. 3 is fine for me, and 2 too, right? Like
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about the little detail of no talk before roleplay. We hop in, just see if everybody's ready, and then we go.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So like 2 minutes maybe, then we go. 90 to 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours of roleplay. And then I want to reserve 30 minutes to talk about the session. Because I always have a strong need to actually talk about what the fuck happened,
Yeah.
And if we cannot do it before, I want to do it after.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So maximum 2.5 hours, and we go longer if everybody's just like that down to play. It's like
It's
Yeah,
going
like
to be a mini campaign, right?
Yeah.
What?
It's going to be like a mini campaign, like 3-4 sessions or something like that, right?
I committed for 5. But that's we can always readjust then, right? Just like if you have good time and want to keep going, that's fine, right?
I guess it depends on how it will play out, right?
Yeah, I will do a minimum of like 3 game time sessions. So this one and 3 more. And after that, like figure out, did we solve for the role play in D&D? Do we have to dig deeper? Do we have to play level 12 characters next?
Cannot avoid the wizard anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, like, okay, now let's play with magic items and all of the good spells and do a mega dungeon. Or, like, that's what I want to figure out. What's the next goal? And if it's just like, everybody loves the characters so much, they want to keep playing in the world, I guess we can. I always get like this, like that's a personal thing for me. I get fucking anxious leading anything, especially like D&D, organizing stuff. The build up to the game, I like freak myself out. As soon as the camera starts rolling, it's easy for me. But it's like I don't want that like fucking, that what is it called? I don't want to carry that stone in my backpack like for 2 weeks of like doing this session where I have all of these expectations of Mr. Max and Nicholas to reach. And I guess the new guy's also there. That's my point of view.
Any point on that? Anybody has something to say about that? Or we can move on.
Fortnightly?
On the
Of what I
time we
said.
play, what he said, on the time we played, and like I want to move on. I want to go to those points because I want to get to the
Yes.
setting. I want
to
to
the
get
to the
option,
meat.
like we still have to discuss. Yeah, we still have to discuss like optional rules and stuff like that,
Yeah,
tone and setting. Yeah, I want to get
I'm
to
good.
that.
I can like micro adjust my schedule. So like a day at a few hours. That's okay.
All right.
Fine.
I guess we can take this down now.
Oh wait. Oh, are you?
Because we have to write the.
We don't talk about co-creation. We skip that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like an important part.
Let me put it back up. Hold on.
Yeah. And also, are we putting the optional rules we're gonna use in that?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, player can co-create the fictional world. We all are kind of like. I know Zon and in Yakrep, you've been lurking around, so you know what we usually mean by co-creation, the limit that we impose, right?
I
driftwood.
expect that I probably won't do a whole lot of co-creation, except where I feel like it's really minor or
That's fine.
consequential.
Yeah, you like in doubt, you can always like, as long as you don't like step out of character to ask a question to the GM, like you know, in doubt, you can also just like probe the world through your action, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
Shake the water bottle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to encourage
Cantina,
co-creation. I feel like it's a particular weakness of mine, of taking what NPCs, factions, world elements players come up with and putting them into the worlds, because my instinct is going that, well, that's not what I've planned, you know. So this is as part of 4D, that's the thing I push against to improve on. So I want the co-creating element to like be showcased as like like we don't have you guys don't have to go into extremes. You can just summon the driftwood at the beach, you know. You return to camp with with the logs and the branches. I know you guys are in a forest or forested area. You don't have to
there should be
cut
plenty.
down the driftwood. So like find the driftwood with a survival check. That's fine.
But what if you plan like an encounter, man, at the beach? You know, we're gonna overstep your plan. I'm joking.
If you're in danger, you will know.
Yeah.
Starting combat music will start playing.
So the roleplay experience is the reward. Co-creation is not a way to win. Fine. Nobody got problem with that.
Yeah.
All right. Player creation are consistent with the setting and tone and item scarcity. All right.
Yeah.
GM control NPCs. The GM can alter any player creation. Fine. We went through it.
Perfect. Yeah. We got it done.
All right. Should we talk about like optional rules that we're gonna use? Which rules of D&D? Because like D&D got a lot of optional rules. I mentioned already like feats, technically optional rules. Are we bringing in feats?
I will put out my opinion that I think we should avoid bloating of rules. But I'm down to pretty much whatever.
I'm pretty much with you on that. Like, I'm pretty much on you with that.
Like optional rules that simplify, I think is pretty good. But like, for example, anything that might keep always changing the way we are doing initiative, for example. So every time it makes it different. I think it's a bit annoying for what we want to do.
So would that mean like we go away with feat? Is that like is somebody here feel like that feat really contributes something to the experience? Like, and in a sense also like most people play with feats. So if we decide like not to play with feat, or we like kind of like not doing the real 5e experience?
Well, the real juice of 5e is homebrewing, so I guess we are, partaking of it.
Like,
how much do they alter? Like,
the real 5e was the game we made along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's
I'm not
not
how
always
losing
about
the
sleep
skills.
rules
over.
were designed. Like in the spirit of 5e, is you take the rules that fit your table, and you ignore everything else because they don't sit at your table, pretty much. And I go for how are rules intended over how the rules are written,
Mhm.
which we agree upon, like as a collective, as a union, to trigger Americans.
Yeah. But what do you how do you stand on the feet question? Like I think because I think like I want to address this one because I think it's a big one. That's something that influenced the game a lot and can slow down the game a lot. So like I'd
The
like to have
way
your point with Zonalara and your crap on that.
the way I've done it is feats have always been a point to make characters more interesting and allow them, and players take the feats to make their characters more one-dimensional, to be strong at fighting. That's
Yeah.
always been the problem. And
Exactly.
sometimes feats makes the fighter more interesting to play, and if he already has an interesting character, that makes it more engaging to play as a game. So it's a win-win in that case. But very often, you allow feats, you allow the floodgates of the game becoming unbalanced real quick, which is, a topic we haven't talked about. Do we care about balance, or do you guys want to die? And me, I just go ham on you of what the
No,
world presents.
I don't care about balance. It's up to us to assess the situation that we're getting into, no?
Like about the
Yes.
feats, I feel like depending on how I role play, like the action, I mean, I think it just could be a case of, oh, you give advantage or disadvantage because it makes more sense. I feel like that covers most of the flavoring of the character, But I don't know.
Yes.
You're the one who's been running the
Like
game longer than I have.
a lot of feats, they're just better in the game because most games is like 80% is combat because they take
Mhm.
forever, right?
Mhm.
So
And
if you
feet don't
remove
help
the
with that.
feats,
What do you think,
yeah.
you crap about the old question?
So I'm not going to lose any sleep over not being able to have feats on my character, and I trust Zonalar's judgment in procuring which feats he allows in the game based on whether they're disruptive.
So Zon, it look like the call's on you. Me and Nicholas can I'm not too much into feet, but I can go both way. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And so I guess like the call's
Phil
on you,
is
Zon.
calling us cowards, though.
Phil, yeah.
Phil is
Well,
calling us
that's the
cowards.
thing. Like play it raw, right? What does it mean? Like that's the point, right? Feats are raw because they're in the book, but they're in the book as optional rules. But it's an optional rules that almost everybody use. So what
But the
does play it raw
spirit
mean? That
The
is
the
like, can you?
benefit of
Go
the
ahead.
benefit of feats is it allows you more options of like your power fantasy.
just make
If
a
you
call.
Yeah, I'm fine with feats. If you it's
All
up
right.
to you. You want
Would
to
you?
have a feat, you're a human now, okay? You're the variant human, or
Yeah.
you reach level 4, because
Okay.
that's what it comes down to. If you're level 4, are you stronger? Are you smarter? Do you have more wisdom, or do you gain a feat? Pretty
Okay. So
much.
feats are in. Feats are in, but then I guess
But
there's the option in the sense that we
probably,
don't have to take them, right?
I don't think anyone's
Yes.
going to pick a race that would get a free feat to begin with.
Well,
But
we'll
if
see.
you're playing the different race, there's already like a whole baggage that comes with it anyway.
Yeah. All right. Feats are in.
Feats are in.
All right.
Also,
If you
not every
play
feat is.
influences.
I will take some feats out and say those are not
Yeah.
allowed.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
if you say you want this feat, and I know it's on my no list, there
Oh
will
no.
be no lucky feats. It does not exist.
Yeah.
Oh
It's a
really?
Oh,
horrible trait, a horrible feat that
Yeah.
ruins the excitement of rolling dice and
I wanted to
failing.
play a lucky halfling.
yeah. That
Well,
is
then
the
you're halfling.
retcon feat.
Yeah, but like
It's
with
in
the
your
luck.
nature to be lucky.
Double down on the luck.
I mean, then
Uh,
you just cringe. That's also halfling.
yeah. Don't
Okay.
be so hard on yourself.
Oh, in the interest of keeping things simple, maybe single class.
Yeah. Single
Single
class.
class. There will
Oh,
be no
yeah.
multiclassing. Right. I didn't even think about that, but for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Single.
It's
Okay.
only
No
min-maxing.
multiclassing.
If you want to multiclass, this is what's going to happen.
You just
You do a
flavor the
choice.
character, right?
You do a choice in character, and you make a pact with the devil. Congratulations, your next level is gonna be a warlock. That's what happens. So you don't get the choice in the matter. I'm dictating that your next level is a warlock. With
But
a, with a
You are
pact.
that's kind of like a that's one case, right? Warlock, like
Yes.
can I multiclass and becoming like a barbarian, right? Just like that's kind of weird, right? There's no real path for that, unless I decide like, oh, I'm running into the wood for 5 months, and
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
You're lost in the wilds and you don't
Okay.
make it back to civilization for 5 months.
all
but-
right.
Now, some of those are much harder than others, right? So for me, multiclassing no, unless it's out of pure roleplay.
Like okay, only narrative multiclassing.
Yes,
Okay.
I like that.
we do not pre-build up to level 20 and then work our way backwards on our character builds, like Pathfinder players, losers.
Oh, shots fired.
Fighting
Where's
words.
the
Flame zombie.
Short rest, long rest, and healing and shit like that. Like always been found, and that's me, and that's gonna impact a lot of the tone, right? But I've always been found. I think there should be the default rules of that. Short rest is 8 hour, a full night of sleep, and the long rest is a week.
The gritty realism optional rule.
Yeah,
I like it.
like that's usually like I like it because it make you a little more like, careful, and but like it impact the tones a lot, obviously. So
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to short rest for like 1 hour. Anyway, so
It also makes it so when you're in the dungeons, you can't just like take a nap.
yeah,
like even if we allow the 40-minute nap, I don't think we would use that in that way because we're good role players. But I would rather the rule was out anyway.
Gritty realism rules for resting.
yeah. Okay, so we all like that. That was just like that's just one my preference. Like it doesn't mean we have to do that, but if you're all in
I want
on
to
it,
try it.
I think it's
Too late. It's already committed.
okay.
I've never
Yeah.
tried it before. I want to try it. So one of the things to mention, D&D doesn't encourage roleplay. It encourages survival, making money, and reaching level 20. So if we
true American game.
let's take the rules that allows us to roleplay more and take it more serious, be more immersive.
Yep.
I agree.
Anything else in the optional rules before we go into homebrew, if any?
Isn't there one for HP, like the dice, HP dice or hit dice?
Yes, there are some of that. Do you want to take like
Yeah.
a full HP dice on first level and then you roll? Or do you
That
want to
would
do
be
that?
the standard, right? So what is standardized? You start with the maximum number of hit die. The fighter has a D10. He starts with 10 hit points plus his constitution. What you can do is every time you level up, you take the average or you roll. And what some people do is you roll, but you can still take the average if you don't like to roll.
If it's not,
Nah,
then it's like a
that's easy
minimum
mode.
anyway.
That's baby mode.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
then you're pussy.
Even like when you roll, I think the rules also got that you have a minimum of 1, which I don't like, because if you have a -2 con, right, you could technically like level up and have -1 hit point, which I think should be on the
could
table.
get burst every level.
Yeah, I think it should be on the table if you you
dead.
fucking play a character with -2 con, right? Just like
Yeah.
you get you're sickly and you get like a. So what do you want to do on that? Are we doing the full HP dice on first level?
Let's see.
There
Yeah.
is. Well, there's another option, but I don't think it's relevant for us. So when you level up, you can roll all of the hit dice again.
Oh yeah.
And if the result is more than the previous result, then you get more. If it's less, you stay at where you at.
Is that in the book?
And that one, no, it's something I've come up with like a few years ago.
I heard that before. I think it's not a bad way to do it, but I think we should stick to the book.
Yeah.
For that experiment.
And that's what I say. It's like it's a nice rule if you're level 7, level 8, level 9.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
And for 3 levels, you have shit rolls, but then you get one that's actually really, really nice, and you get a big jump without the drawbacks of being stuck on a shit character forever.
But also, if you get like a big jump once, it's likely that you're not gonna have any jumps for a few levels. It is actually a pretty good rules, but I don't know if we.
I don't think we need it.
By the book, then.
We can stick by the book. Do you want the option now? Like, do you want to choose every level, or we say now, average or reroll, or you want the choice?
Roll.
Yeah, I say roll.
The less decisions I have to make, the less of a mental toll it is on me.
Okay.
So let the dice follow me.
What do you think, Jacob? You fine with that?
I usually go with average hit points, but I'm outvoted, so we're rolling hit points.
And no minimum, right?
This is how it works. It's not the session of minimal viable product. It's of the best role play.
That does remind me though. During character creation, are we doing rolled stats, point buy, standard array?
And that's something we need to talk about as well, right?
The other optional role, before I forget about it, is it's in the Dungeon Master Guide. It's healer kit dependency. Basically, that it just means that if you're going to stabilize somebody's wounds, you can't just use your hands. You have to have medical supplies. So you have to have a healer's kit and consume one of the charges as like
like that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like Left 4 Dead, where the guy gets beaten, you're just like, hey, get up, and the guy's fine again. It's like,
would just like ripping my shirt off, like to make some bandage and stuff like that, would that count as like I'm just like an improvised healer's kit? Would that be like enough, or?
I feel
like that should. That could be up to a medicine roll, or it could be up to the GM, I suppose.
You have to use a healer's kit charge or use a substitute. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
A substitute and succeed. Medicine roll.
Yeah.
Let's make it a little bit less broken English.
All right.
Rules.
I like that.
Sounds good to me.
That makes it a little more hardcore.
I still want a medicine roll when you use a healer's kit. How do you feel about that? Especially, you're still in combat rounds because every 6 seconds he could die. So
no, I agree with that. Medicine roll, and if you use improvise, a substitute, you got disadvantage on that roll.
Yeah. Total sense.
It's either
unless I have a cheat for that.
I would offer either it's disadvantage or you fail. It doesn't work. You need to come up with a different substitute. Your shirt isn't good enough.
Spit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm all for like if you put like
Yeah.
an option for it to be like more hardcore, I'm gonna be for it.
Yeah, let's go with disadvantage. So substitute and succeed a medicine roll with disadvantage.
But if you have the healer's kit, you still need a roll, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, s- Talking about that death save, the 3 death save. Are we doing that? Are they like, when does the death save go away? Like, is it
I
like,
will make a case. Let's do it. Every time it's your turn, the player has a chance to speak, like to say a few words. His like last wish, so to say.
yeah?
You can have a cinematic moment of conveying a message you really wanted to get off your chest before you murk and die.
With the
Mhm.
three
that-
things.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So we
So you have a
keep it as it is on the book, right? The
On the book,
three.
if I recall correctly, you have to succeed. If you succeed on 3 death save,
It's a
well,
best of three, right?
if you fail on 3 death save, you die, right?
Yes.
If you succeed on, is that in the book? If you succeed on 3, you get stabilized.
You get
You
stabilized
stabilize
if
at 0,
you
yeah.
are successful 3 times.
Yeah.
At which point you are unconscious for there's like 1 to 4 hours or something. You roll a die, or I roll a die, and I just say like after 2 hours you wake up.
Yeah.
I think I might have led you guys astray with this healer's kit dependency ticket. I misremembered the optional rule. The optional rule is actually that to roll a hit die to recover during a short rest, you have to expend healing.
Oh,
The stabilizing thing, that's already the raw rule for
Yes,
then that's good. That
in
works
the
then.
core, in the normal rolls, you use a healer's kit, and he's automatically stabilized, no problem. You just use a charge. That's the
Yeah.
trade-off there. But I like our rolls better.
And I don't like to regain the it dies on short rests with the gritty realism rules. Maybe we don't need that.
You don't. Uh, I think it stays in there because you roll your hit
Yeah.
dice to regain them, and then you
Yeah.
need a whole week to regain the hit die.
Yeah. All right.
I've,
I think that's fine.
okay, wait. So if I do a short rest, I roll my hit die. Just see if I roll my hit die, recover that. But if it's a long rest because it's a week, I get fully healed. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
and you
Yes.
recover
And
half
Exactly.
it.
You're not just so
wait, you
your
recover
hit die
on full.
is expendable after you use a short rest once to heal. It's gone for the week, and at the end of the week,
Okay.
you gain half of your hit dice back. At level 2, you regain 1 hit die, not 2.
Yeah.
Okay. But how many I have initially?
Per level.
One
One per
one per level. Yeah.
Okay. One. Okay.
And the
Yeah.
hit die is depending on your class. The barbarian gets a d12, the wizard gets a d6.
Yeah, which is too much, but
Should be a d2. Right,
yeah,
you're right.
a D0.
So
The what is the one I wanted to bring out? Yeah, it was like we still haven't solved like the death save, because one problem I have with the death save, right? You go down,
Yes.
you fail 2 death save, somebody bring you back to 1 hit point with magic heal world word, like the fucking like healing word, right?
You use magic to heal somebody.
Yeah, so now like you're back to 3 hit point, and then you go down again, and now you go back to
So yeah, if we do that, right, we have a more fantastical setting. Magic
Yeah.
is powerful. Magic returns people from death, like immediate magic does. If somebody's dead for like a minute, he's still gone. He's a goner. You cannot use a healing word. Like, the battle is over, you have a chat, then you look over to the guard like, oh shit, you tried to heal him? No, he's gone. You had your chat. You should have done it like immediately in combat.
It's
or
like the
after combat.
5-second rule, but yeah.
Yes. You drop the guard for 5
Oh, you
seconds,
can eat
he's
it.
dead.
Exactly.
About this like yo-yo effect, I have a house rule created once that I used. I loved it. Players hated it. Every time you get up from 0 hit points, you gain a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And now
I like
exhaustion
that.
levels stack real fast and go out of control.
And it
Crazy.
says you die.
How does that work? How are you gonna do that?
It works hard. It's let us look at the exhaustion rules.
Yeah. And
Open your player's handbook, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay, Lich.
but also like the other option is like you see like the fail death save go away when you take a rest. That's also something like
Oh.
some people do.
So you recover your chances to.
Yeah.
But if you fall over in combat, you're still at 0 to death saves, and you could die quicker.
Well, you can regain some hit point very through various mean, right? But you I don't know, or maybe we just like stick with raw just for the sake of you give us the page for the exhaustion. You told me to open my book, but then if you kind of like
Yeah, the bad teacher.
yeah, you kind of like step in the middle.
It's been a while. Where's exhaustion listed? I
It's dark
was
here, I can
thinking
barely
it's
read.
at the back of the book, but apparently not.
It's player. Sorry, 1 second. Let me switch to 2014 version.
One eighty one.
181. Yeah. 181, 185.
Really? I was tracking 291.
Yeah, that's 2. There's 3 in the book. There's 3 spots that they explain the rules.
None of them help.
What's the name of the section?
291 covers conditions, I think.
It's
Yeah, that
not
makes
on
sense. They have
one.
like the conditions listed at the very end of the book. That's a classic.
Yeah, it's not on this index. Sucks. There's nothing about exhaustion in 181, 185.
Yeah, it's page 291. It's a sidebar under the conditions listed, like frightened, deafened, all of those.
Yeah.
You have 6 levels of exhaustion. Level 1, disadvantage on ability checks. Level 2, speed is halved. Level 3, disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Level 4, hit point maximum is halved. Level 5, your speed is reduced to 0. Level 6, you
But
die.
how do you even get to exhaustion 5? Like, how many times like you're dying and coming back to life?
Like if
So
you play
there's other ways
barbarian
to
and you
gain
go
it.
into rage. Yeah.
You can also
Oh yeah.
there's additional optional rules about like, if you don't eat or drink, you gain
Yeah.
levels of exhaustion. If you
Okay.
sleep with your armor
Makes
on,
sense.
you gain exhaustion.
Yeah.
It's
It's a overall. Okay, I like that.
You
Yeah,
do
there's
not
also, like,
sleep, you're more exhausted. You
Yeah.
go through a blizzard, you gain exhaustion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very underused. I see like also people like say like every time a critical hit is scored against you, you gain an exhaustion.
I've never seen that one. That's crazy.
I
That's
feel like
real wild.
the damage itself is enough, like, you know.
Well, that's one way
Drama.
that people like try to solve like the 5e not being deadly enough, right? That's one thing. Like a
How do
Yeah.
you kill a god, exhaust him to death with
yeah,
combat?
exactly. But anyway, are we committing to like avoiding like we can do optional rules but avoiding homebrew? Are we like kind of like going this direction, or you wanna? Like I think we're straying away from the
exhaustion
book.
was the solution to your problem, right off. the yo-yo effect, and he's up
Yep.
again. Because I have 10 good berries at hand, and I just feed him one every time he's on the floor.
Yeah.
The Stenzu beans from Dragon Ball.
I'm okay with going by the rule, by the book, and that would like inform the tone of magical healing does have an awesome effect on the people. It's
So we're just doing by the book, right? I get to 0 points. I will roll my death save rolls.
Yeah.
And then if I beat it, I get up with how many points? One.
If you beat it, you have 0 hit points.
You don't have to roll
You're no
anymore.
longer dying.
Okay, I'm alive, but like I'm incapacitated.
Yeah. The question is like if somebody like bring you to 1 hit point, right? Like stuffing a good berry in your mouth and some shit like that, right? Somebody gets you to 1 hit point. Now, like technically, you spring back to your feet and you're fully operational again, right? And then you go down again because
you can attack. You can do a spell.
Okay. I mean, if it's a magical source, I guess okay to be up again, but like it's 1 hit point, so you should roleplay like being wary. Like I don't want to die, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe abandon your friends and run away.
Let's keep it raw then.
Okay.
There you go.
Good.
That's one. Any other? Oh yeah, the character. That's in character creation. Like that's Jacob brought that point. What do you want to do? 3d6 down the line, point by.
Do you guys want to play
the
characters
lowest
down the line at level 1, level 2?
Sorry,
is this what you want to?
By...
It's pretty.
How
it informs your choices of characters, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say because in some games I like looking at the the stats and then making a guy that fits into that. Especially because we're gonna play like, I guess setting. Are we doing like starting generic fantasy and we'll build like
let's decide.
Play, or
should we go setting before so we can make those decisions? Yeah.
Do we inform the setting by what we roll, or do we choose a setting and then we decide how we roll?
Choose the setting first, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess maybe.
Yeah.
So we are avoiding.
If you guys want to play monstrous races, orcs, goblins, minotaurs, and we go down the line of 3d6 down the line, you're gonna have a tough time because you're not a strong orc. You will most likely be the weak, cowardly orc.
But like that's just life, you know. Like, I'm not the biggest.
Yes,
I manage.
Yeah. Then you come up with a roleplay reason why you did not get cold by the herd. You know, a reason.
I was not fed meat when growing up. You know, I'm just like thin.
Yeah, you roamed, and everybody got a piece except for you.
Yeah, that's why I became a cannibal orc. You know, because nobody gave me meat, so got to fetch my own.
So are we doing this like we talk a lot about like the monstrous race, like doing the orc campaign, right? Are we going like one thing I don't like, right? One thing I don't like in setting in general. Like for me, one thing that's very important is that the world need to be like make sense in like it need to be like consistent with itself, right? And a lot of like D&D setting by default fail at that big time, right? A lot of them like are just like fucking stupid. As soon as you
dinosaurs,
spend, like,
robots
about it. Yeah. Well, it's also like the way like the magic is used or not used and stuff like that, right? A lot of D&D setting fail at that test in my mind, right? Just like so, it's hard for me to immerse myself in the world if the world doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would be like pretty much against like going with a established setting already.
Yeah.
And I would start with like just.
I was gonna say, maybe we can just like let's talk in a broad sense, like magic, for example. Like how common is it? How accessible is it? How an everyday person, how often would they see like someone using magic? You know, because I like magic to be rare. Because it makes it magic, you know.
Yeah.
But one nice thing about these gritty rules is that the the number of spell slots are going to be
Yeah.
across the whole week.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are we
that's
gonna do,
rough.
man? I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't intend on playing a magic user because of extra rules. So,
I'm gonna say one of you guys have to play a magic unit.
or the genuine 5e.
Really?
I'll try
Why?
it.
You don't
play it?
have
That's
to.
5e, man.
You don't have to.
I would like to.
I'm not going to force you guys.
Well, also like let's well, is that what we're gonna do? We want to do like the art campaign.
What? It's up to you. I'm leaving it open.
It'd be interesting to do like
Yeah.
the more not the I'll say less goofy monsters like the like orcs, goblins, and maybe like adjacent to that. But I think like
Yeah,
having like a half bear, half thing, I think maybe too much.
Yeah, I think like if we want to do like the monstrous race, it should be like there should be like monster that kind of like exist and work together like normally
Yeah.
and like like
Like-
if we do like I'm gonna play like a gelatinous cube, right?
A
And then you play a
centaur, yeah,
minotaur,
Medusa,
and somebody else play RP, right?
What do you guys think of lizard folk?
Lizard folk
I
is a
think they're cool.
like it's a classic example of a monstrous race that gets played all the time.
But
It's very
there's the
popular.
stats, right?
The problem I have with
No.
the lizard folks is like the lizard brain for me, like it's very alien, like in a
Exactly.
sense, right? So like I would rather do something like gnolls and something like that. At least they're
Yeah.
mammals, right?
Exactly.
Not like with lizard folks,
Cat
like
dogs.
it brings a lot of more weirdness that could be interesting, but
Yeah.
I feel also it's kind of
It
limiting,
would-
right?
I think it would have to be an all lizard folk game then, because like you said, like why would the lizard folk be working with like like there
But
would
also, like,
need to be a very
and then-
good explanation for that.
And then also you have to ask the question like, do lizard folks work together? Are they like a social species, or are they like just like
Yeah.
waiting to eat each other all the time,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Most
how do you make
reptiles
them, like-
aren't. Most
Yeah.
reptiles, they're just mate and like. You know,
I mean, you guys
go
come
away.
up with the lore. That's what we are doing here.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
you want to play a
and
lizard,
that's the
right?
thing too, right? And
a
I
classic lizard folk, he doesn't have like honor that gets hurt when somebody cusses him out. He's just like, well, that's not factually true what you said about my hairline. So I'm
Yeah.
just really confused about what you're saying to me. He's unaffected. But if you say like your aim is horrible, it's gonna be like, you said what about my hunting skills? You take the back right now.
and that's the thing too, right? I said like, and I gave that caution in a sense, right? If you want to do like the monstrous race, I don't want to make them like human in skin suit, right? I'm gonna make them like
Yeah.
I'm gonna play them like monstrous.
Weird.
I'm gonna lean
Alien.
into that, right? So that's also something to consider if you want to go in there, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that the fun, the fun is trying to understand how that creature would think. So going all in, I agree.
It's up to you guys. We can go with civilized races. We've gone beyond.
What do you mean civilized? Like are we talking about like civilized monsters
so
or?
Where I see is like different stages of civilization, right? Like D&D
tribal
plays
stage.
in it like medieval age. We have a king, or there's even an emperor sometimes, and then there are feudal lords, and they solve problems without violence sometimes. And then you can break it down to tribal levels, which is where most monstrous races exist.
Okay. If we are doing the monster races, are we using like any supplement that will cover that race, so we don't need to homebrew?
That's the other question that we do if we have to like that's the thing too. Like we could do like an orc party, right? And just like say we just play the fucking half orc from the manual and just like say we just take away the half part and just say like,
but I think there is a official supplement for monster racers, right? Like goblins and orcs.
They are.
Isn't there?
I don't know if they're any good, and I don't have any of them.
I mean, if it's good or not, I think this is out of the table because we decided to do, 5 years by the book. So
there's Volo's Guide to Monsters, and there's Morden Kanan Presents Monsters of the Multiverse.
Because I would fall into homebrew if you just reskin, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna be a goblin, just play a hobbit, but it's green and has a big nose now.
Yeah.
There are rules. I've linked it to you guys. I'm trying to figure out which book it is. I have Xenophar's Guides to Everything or a different one. It might be Soko's Adventures Guide, maybe. But there is a book that covers most monstrous races to be playable: kobolds, goblins, hobgoblins.
But do we follow also like in away from the core 2014, right? If we go like something like this post Tasha, right? Where like now like race really doesn't mean anything.
It is before Tasha's Cold War.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like three
It needs to
3
be.
years down the line type situation.
I think you're talking about Volos. Volos has orcs, kobolds, goblins.
Yes, that's the one.
bugbears, lizard folk, furbolg.
Like even like Kobold and stuff like that, right? I don't have anything against Kobold, but they feel a little more limited in scope in what they can do, right? Because they're like
They're very
more-
niche.
very like one tone, right? You don't you
Yeah.
like
A kobold for me has always been the story of the dragon that never was. You will have all the aspects of grandeur, but you will never reach it. And
Yeah,
if you
the
try to
dragon
reach it, that's
spells,
the
right?
character arc. Yeah. Or I mean, classic D&D, like kobolds are more dog-like creatures and have no draconic affections at all.
Yep.
It's just tunnelers.
That's the Japanese version of. So we are doing then because we have a supplement.
We
Well,
can. What are you
can we-
interested in, guys?
can we do it also without like being goofy, right? Like without being like
Yeah.
just becoming like a goofball game. Like can we buy in that
That-
thing? Like is that something like interests you?
You don't want goofy goblins? Like they use their comedy as a deflection of getting harmed?
I feel like
Or
that's
do you want
kind of
like the Lord of
challenging.
the Rings goblins that there's
Yeah, like
ugly,
degenerate, despicable,
disgusting, the greedy?
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
fling feces at people.
Like I'm not against comedy, like if it's in character, right? And if it's come like if it happens, right? Stuff like that.
Natural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be like I don't want it to turn into a beer and pretzel game, right? Because I'm not too
Yeah.
interested in that.
Yeah. Like I feel like the challenge of what we are doing is like role playing 5e, and most when you think of the 5e, you always have like the wizard player and the guy playing like a minotaur or like a funky race. So like kind of in that vein, but we're gonna take it serious. Like I think that's part of the experience.
I will say if we go the serious route, I'm pretty much like playing outside of my comfort zone because it's a comedy that I'm pretty good at, like bringing some levity into the game, get the players like relax a little bit before we go in harder again. So I feel like that would be like a personal challenge as a game master
The
too.
break room. Okay. So monster races, yay or nay?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
interested. I want to try because since I've been, 14, I never played a non-human thing.
Yeah.
Lie, I played a frog, but that's out of the.
Yeah, like I'm okay with it, but I'm also okay with
a
if we want to do like
frog.
if we're gonna do like all human, I'm okay with that as well. If we're gonna do like all dwarf, I'm okay with that as well. If we're gonna do like a mixed party, then like it depends, right? Just like we need to find like a
sweet spot.
Then we like have to create the much more lore around the situation, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Options
like Duda
monster
Squatch said,
races.
you got some monsters that they work together, that make sense to be working together. It's the same as having like a human and an elf and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have
And I
to consider the fact that if we commit for like a shorter campaign, right, and there's only 3 of us, we also like have to think about scope, right? Like so that's also like gonna impact like the type of story we can tell, right? It's not maybe not
Like the
time to do like a
premise.
big epic.
Yeah. The premise, right?
The premise. We have to figure that out. I just realized we're almost at 2 hours. So
Yeah.
So we have to create the premise, the classes, the races you want to play, and roll some stats. And I know you guys can do most of it by yourselves, but I want to be there to like help you guys. And I think it's really
I like
good if
creating
you can
characters
create
together.
Yes, I think it's really good to create a good dynamic.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the filling in the character sheet I can do on my own time, right? And but
Yes.
like figuring out like who the character are and where they work together. I think that's something we should do together.
Yeah.
So do we do that? Do we do like if we're to the monster race, what monster work well together? Like or have some kind of hierarchy or like civilized to some extent.
So
And
are we going with the tamer? Like when I say tamer, like the more basic ones, or are we going
I want to
minotaurs,
allow
giant?
I want to allow everything that you want to. If you
Did
go
you say
with a
giant?
minotaur, we're
I
basically
don't know.
giving you.
I said just as a throwaway thing.
That's the kind of thing like a minotaur. What I'm thinking of, like you get
No
like a
way,
whole
like,
hit die,
giant-
like a hit dice bonus. You know, you're the one guy that
Yeah.
has like double hit dice at level 1 to keep the very similitude of
Okay,
I think
minotaur
also
and
yeah,
basic
correct.
goblin.
we
You're
should also
awfully
like
quiet.
pick if we do like the monster race. Who's talking? Yeah, Crap, you saying something?
He will now say something for us.
I think that if we go with the monster race, we think we should also pick something that we share some kind of understanding of what they are and what they mean, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to
Yes.
define them super
the-
deeply, and we can all have the same
Yeah,
kind
like
of
the
idea.
more humanoid ones, yeah.
Yeah, but
that will
that's
share
why
similarities.
that's why I like that's why I like orcs and goblins stuff like that, because like okay, we can say like, oh, okay, they're like the World of Warcraft orcs or the Warcraft orcs before they became turn into good guys,
Yeah.
right? It's like the or something like
Like
that, or like
the
the Tolkien
troll
orcs.
is a lot harder because the troll is just described as this monster. It is a monster, pretty much.
Yeah.
Troll
But the
doesn't
troll-
think that much.
But also trolls are much they're less thinking, but it's also like something that it's less defined, the fantasy of a troll, right?
Yes.
A troll varies so
Yeah.
much from
The sheep eating bridge under. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
he's the
think that-
bridge tax collector that plays like tricks on adventures.
I don't think
Yeah, you
there's.
wouldn't want to be a monster.
So,
and
right,
just
let
stab
Jacob
somebody.
speak, please.
I don't think there's playable troll race in the D&D rule set. It'd have to be.
Oh, then that's all
homebrew.
good. Which one do you say you have? They have they have orcs, goblin, kobold,
Hobgoblin is a thing.
And
The
Bugbears.
hobgoblin.
and bugbear.
Hobgoblin is like a classic. You're more militarized, much more militarized, much more rules of law.
Yeah.
And also like better equipped, usually too. Like evil dwarfs, almost.
So do we want to? Are we doing that?
No,
or are we?
I'm down for it. Like I'd like to play a goblin if we're doing monsters.
Okay. Do you guys have access to Wolo's Guide?
No, well, no, but I could.
in a way?
Exactly. I can have.
Okay. You can look up at your website of choice of options for monsters characters. I will link you guys in private where to
Yeah.
find that
Please.
in the private chat on StreamYard. And you can look in here.
I used to have the Portuguese version.
I do not have the filter in there, but you can just like look at all of these creatures and see if it like fits.
What are we looking at now?
Oh, so they have like the update. It's the updated version in here with the updated version
there's
was like Mordecai
yeah.
presents Monsters of the Multiverse, and I
So
think
that
that one changed like a
Which
bunch
one?
of how attributes are put in. And
We're
took
gonna
away
go
from
with
the
Volo.
rules.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to go with the Volus Guide one.
All right.
So what you'll need to do is in the filters, you'll either have to remove Mordenkainen presents Monsters of the Multiverse, or you'll have to remove the negative filter for reprints, because by default it will hide any reprinted race.
I see.
So like
We're looking
there's
at that.
two versions of lizard, two versions of a kobold.
Mordecannons presents Monsters of the Multiverse. So I removed that, and it should add changes. Okay, let's see.
Are we
I
doing
don't know if
language then?
am I supposed to do something now? Like I'm.
Yeah.
Yes, you're supposed to look at the races available.
Oh, I don't have it
You
now.
want.
I still.
Okay,
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna look for that on stream.
Okay. fine.
Yeah.
Let's not do
Like,
it.
If
Instead,
somebody
I
wants
want
to share
you
it,
guys.
if somebody wants to share
I
on the
want-
screen there, like we can look through it together, right? Like
um,
share the PDF or whatever, right?
there's a wiki for that kind of stuff.
Somebody like share something there. I just saw your private message. Sorry, I missed it. Okay, that's what you're talking about, like filter. I have to remove. Oh fuck, man!
Oh, this is messy.
Holy shit!
Yeah. It's like
check
debugging
StreamYard's, Mr. Max.
What?
Can you put the screen in?
Yeah, if I need to find back my.
Okay, so how do I find Volos? What?
There you go. Zoom that up, please.
Oh, he's sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
There's like character races available in the Volus Guide.
Mhm.
Let's see how you guys can read more as much as possible. Over here, like this.
Zoom
There we
that
go.
in.
Some more, okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm old, guys.
Like the
Tabaxi, an old Tabaxi party. There we go. We solved it.
Yeah, Asimar, Angelic Spark Creature, the Furbolg, the Force Guardians, Goliaths.
Kenku.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, we do
Cool-
all the
cool
Tabaxi.
tool
Oh,
comparisons.
Kenku that don't speak. We do all Tabaxi,
Yeah.
and we're just like kind of like Skyrim gadget that we just like
Yeah.
nomad traveling
Steal
around and
stuff, yeah.
Steals
selling
the Furball, you know.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Catches
stop
the
trying to
rats.
have people play cats.
One day, you just go ahead and create a game, man.
A Triton,
Take that out of your system.
you can play.
There's a
Ocean
huge
Man.
chapter just for the common, like the bugbears, goblins, right? There's a whole
Yes.
Yeah, the chapter also
section
cover
just
like
for them.
yeah.
So we
Because
ignore
we're not
the
playing
ASMR.
like ASMR.
It's too cringe.
Yeah, it's too
What?
cringe.
There's
This is
There's
like a very amiable monsters
No.
race. No,
No,
Yeah.
too friendly.
too cringe. Too
See, there is a
badass.
giant. There was the Goliath.
Yes,
it's
that
yeah,
is
the half
that is
giant.
Mm.
Kenku.
Oh, Lizard Folk is there.
Yeah.
You got him.
Tabaxi.
Nothing. Yeah, the backseat.
The inverted hands bug me out.
No, they don't have it. No, that's not Tabaxi. That's
Which
got
one?
inverted hands.
That
That's,
is
Like a demon. It's a demon cat.
Rakshasa. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rakshasa.
yeah.
Rakshasa.
the Triton, Ocean
Nope.
Man.
And then Ocean game.
Boring.
One day maybe. I find
You
the
don't want to explore the oceans,
No,
the deep abyss, dive deeper and
Hmm.
deeper.
no, man. I live in
You know.
smooth already. So
we need a 3D board for make the cards go up and down.
Goblin
So you
Trade.
have like monstrous origins to help you fit in. Yeah, you are the victim of a curse, a polymorph spell. You were raised by humans,
Nah.
the worst
No,
fate.
for that.
of all.
If we're all monster, we don't need to fit in, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's the whole.
There
I
you
was
go.
born a
So-
monster, man.
Bugbear,
Bug-
Hobgoblin, Kobold, Goblin.
exactly. And then there's like Yuan Ti as well.
Yeah,
If you
that's
go
just
to
snake.
snake,
An
Demon.
orc.
the orc.
An orc.
Okay. Do we want to do like only goblinoid, so we can have like goblin, bugbear, hobgoblin? Do we
I
want to
feel like
do
orcs
include
fit
orc?
in, like, because usually you have goblins like in servitude or in tendon, you know.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. But technically, in D&D 5e, orcs are a separate thing. They're not goblinoid anymore, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah.
But
What if you
Uh,
homebrew that? In our world, they are a bit related.
eh, I would be fine with that, right? Like we can do
Yeah.
like orc and goblins, right? And you know,
I
Yeah,
kind of like the
we don't even
Warhammer
have to
thing as
bring
well.
up hobgoblins. Like they don't have to be a thing in our world, you know.
mhm. Or bugbear, but they can be, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they exist, they don't have to come up. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's what we go with. I would love to, well, like in a way, I kind of want to decide on like what is your tribe? Like how big is it? How many tribes are in there? Are there
Well,
multiple?
are we probably should decide on the premise as well, because maybe we're just like a
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, oh, we're a raiding party, or we were a raiding party and we got lost, right? Or we were like on a ship and the ship sunk, and now we're, you know, like whatever. Like, there's all kind of like different places.
This
we
is
can
what
go,
I
right?
want to offer you guys. Monstrous tribes come together under one evil lich in servitude, and
No.
you guys that okay? Like too big, too grand. You,
Dude,
look
I
like
don't want to be. I
orcs.
don't like. No, because I don't want to. I don't want
Sauron's
to be somebody
army.
else's bitch.
Ah, I see. You
No,
want
but
your own thing.
that's the whole like arc, right? You're an orc, you want to be the boss, so you become the boss. I don't know, like the whole shtick.
Yeah,
If it's a
but you're not
village, it's
gonna
gonna be-
beat the lich at level 1. Like
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah,
chance.
no, not the lich. Yeah.
Like I don't want to be like sent on errand, right? I don't want to be like, oh, go
Yes.
do that now. It's like no,
Yeah.
no, I want to be in control.
I want to be
Are
free
you?
for
Is it?
once in my
Is
life.
it a massive? Is it a massive warband? Are we talking thousands of monsters? Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking like 4 tribes collected together?
If we put too many, right? Like that's gonna be like harder to manage. There can be
Yes.
like many in the background, and maybe
Exactly.
we're like a scouting
you
party
can-
and stuff like that. Like I don't know, and you know, maybe we need to be able to act with some independence. I think that's the point I'm making.
Exactly. Like if you're a
Like,
lot
I
of
don't-
people, you have
Yeah.
more autonomy. People don't miss you as much if you're gone.
Just
But,
like real life.
Yeah, but if the tribe is much smaller, then your choices matter a lot more to
Yeah.
the tribe.
Like I don't mind if like
Yeah.
there's a lich figure like Sauron, stuff like that technically your race is enslaved to or whatever, but like as long as we be able, like I don't want to have direct interaction with that, right? That's some background
Yeah.
stuff. Right?
Okay.
I want to be
Yeah.
able to act with independence. I can
Yeah, that
Like-
was that. I have a couple of visions, like a war chief. Is there a war chief? You know, a united diplomatic figure. He's not a diplomatic figure. He's a war chief. You know, what he says goes for. Like the laws, like decreed by him, and you guys come up with whatever the current war chief is up to,
Yeah.
and that's what you role play around in a way.
What about this one by the Doodle Squash proposed
yeah.
there? How about the Dark Lord has been
Oh.
defeated, and now you all scatter around, right? You know, it's like, well, what happened to the orcs after Saurons get defeated?
Yeah, like if Aragorn is coming, you know? Yeah.
What? Sorry?
Yeah,
Like Aragorn
like
is
that.
coming for you, you know? Like you're on the chopping block now.
Yeah. Are we trying to find a place in the world? Like, are we, you know, it's like, I
But,
like the idea of it being like a raiding party or a scouting
yeah.
party, stuff like that.
I
So we
think
can be a small group that work together for some
won't that
reason.
make it too much of a survival game and to make it less of having interactions with other characters? Because that's the best part is interacting. Won't that be like too much of surviving the environment? Or maybe all the monsters that were under the control of the Lich are now like kind of there's like this tension of infighting because you know the power
Who's
of it
on
come
top
back from them.
now?
Yeah.
And in a way, I want you guys to consider of level influences what you can do. If you're level 20 or if you're level
Yep.
1, it will decide on the hacking order of influence. Based, just by the way the game is designed, and also you have this like ingrained feeling of how strong something is. If he has 60 hit points and you have 8 hit points, there's no way you don't notice.
Yeah.
Has
How
that been
about like
decided?
sorry, go ahead, Yak.
Has that been decided? What level?
Are we starting level
Yeah.
1 or are we starting like level 3 or whatever?
What, Nicholas, you said level 1. Do you stick by that, or did you change your mind?
Did I say that? Did I say that?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Level 1, 2, 3, you've said at some point in our talk.
okay, I did. Yeah, I remember now. I feel like low level, because the higher you go, then more feats, more just
Yeah.
Yes.
basic.
More abilities, more feats,
Yeah,
but also
and I
this
feel like
provides
everything
more
is more
skills.
real as well. Like each damage feels more impactful.
Yeah. A lot of people like start at level 3 because that's where like all the class get their subclass or their special stuff, right? Some class get
Yeah,
like
although
1. So there's a reason for it. We don't have to do it.
class is
We can
just a necessity,
Level 3
in my
allows,
view.
it gives you more features. You're not really your class until level 3.
But I don't want to be
for
my
for
class. No, I want to
for
be
yeah, exactly. Like
my
I was about
character.
to say,
Yeah.
for good or ill, right? It gives you more feature
Yes.
for good or ill. What do you think, Yak?
Well, I know that level 1 characters are prone to accidentally dying very quickly. I think starting at like level 3 will give us a little bit more wiggle room where we don't,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
I think like
not to plot armor the characters, but I just know that um,
Survivability.
the challenge rating system is not super accurate, and even if you give somebody a challenge rating low monster, it could just kill
yeah.
you.
I think also like
Yes.
level 3, starting at level 3 also gave us more wiggle room as to kind of setting and tone and what and premises, right? Because if you're level
Uh-huh.
1, you're like basically a nobody.
Mm.
So like what is
Mhm.
it you do, right? How about
Absolutely.
this one for premise, right? We starting from what do those quests talk about, like the Dark Lord have been defeated and now like the monster on the loose. But let's if we make it like not directly after, not like Aragon is coming, like that has been happening for a while and the
Mm.
monster has spread out around the world, and maybe we come from a little group of monster that found some place to live. And that's something that Yekrep mentioned, not Yekrep, Zonalar mentioned at some point in the Discord, like, and now some elves are encroaching or getting close, right? And we're this scouting party that need to fucking go see what's happening and maybe deal with that. What about that for premise?
Like they're trying to take back their
Mhm.
territory that they lost when the Dark Lord was in power.
Yeah, or they think that it's rightfully theirs, because whatever, right? It's like
Where yeah, yeah.
that's something to figure out in play, right? In the like, and different people can have different vision about that. Would that be like an interesting premise that would lead to some
Yeah.
conflict, would give us some independence, would have some
Yeah.
background, like there's a tribe there, like of this little corpuscle of monster that found a place to live somewhat in peace, maybe.
The war chief is slain. The tribes have scattered to their own across the world, escaping the wrath of mankind. And, some escaped into deep forests, others went to the mountains, like maybe, and you guys can decide like which ones you are. You've like
Hmm.
are at the mouth of an expansive cavern system. Like, hey, we have safety here. We are away from the rain, away from the ice, and you have to secure the caverns for the tribe.
That's
So
And
also
they sent you
like
tired of
this
hiding.
comment where like, yeah, when waiting for the next Dark Messiah, that's can also something like a dynamic that can exist in that kind of
Oh
premise as well.
yeah.
Like they probably have some like different figure or different war chief that wanna like maybe something will happen in the background.
like
Maybe we're
that.
gonna interact with that. Maybe we know just like there's always like what we need to figure out is the premise, the starting. Like it's not necessarily what we're gonna do, is the
Yeah.
situation, the current
What's
situation, and
happening?
then
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, the kind of background information, and then we can act from there, right?
What is it
So-
like to having lived under in servitude your whole life, like for generations? Now you
Like,
don't serve anyone anymore. Like you need a new master, or do you take your freedom?
I think it's interesting to because I feel like the orcs would have a different opinion than the goblins on that, you know? Because the way I envision the goblins, like they are weaker, like their strength is being a bastard, basically. So it was for them, it was good that it was like this big guy keeping like a structure because that allowed them to survive. But
The
you know
goblins
what I
are
mean?
probably like subordinate to the orc now, no? They're probably like kind of like the
Yeah.
orcs bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted
they
to ask
just
about
like,
that.
it was better to be under the Lich, you know? I don't know.
yes,
Is
yes.
in this hypothetical scenario where the previous war chief, I guess there's like sort of a power vacuum where the war chief
Mhm.
has been killed. But are we thinking of this war chief as like a leader of like various groups of people that are all united under one banner? Like the orcs and the goblins are united under a war chief, and maybe he's like an orc or something like that. Sort of World of Warcraft style horde situation,
It's
or
like
what
a
do we
common
think?
interest, but I don't know if they're 100% allies, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Or like,
especially
or
if,
it's like true force, right? They're kind of like bound like through like force and thread, like the orc chief
It's like
managed.
I imagine it like Attila the Hun. Wait, is that one?
Attila, yeah.
That's something that somebody that exists. I don't know if that's what the one you're talking
Okay,
about.
the Huns, you know, fucking slayed all the other commanders and united the tribes by force.
Yeah.
okay.
I think
Good
like
word.
what the way I would see it, right? Like I would keep the Lich thing, right? Like, and this
Yeah,
has been
totally.
defeated, and like that was some time ago, not super long ago, but some
Yeah.
time ago that maybe all our character didn't live under that system, didn't live under that system, right?
Just
now,
hear the
like,
stories.
Oh,
The power vacuum now left like those war chief trying to get some tribe together from the different
Mhm.
manner, get some organization doing, and now like at some point there's always like some leader that think they're bigger than they are and want to reunite the tribe and try to take the place of the Lich, right? Even though they're just like a dumb orc or whatever, right?
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody else is against them because they also want to be the leader.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And then on top of that, now you have like because the evil bad lord has been defeated for a while, now the non-monstrous race are trying to clean up and move in, and now like can be like different sorts of conflict like that. You kind of squeeze between the two, right? I think that
the
could be an
reason
interesting
why
premise.
there are no kobolds in the tribes, they have been assimilated to the civilized races. They work great on the streets, in the cities, and in the mines.
Or maybe because they were a
Cleaning
bunch
the
of cowards
chimneys.
and they didn't take part in the conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
because I feel like kobolds are too isolationists, you know? They're just doing their own thing. They're happy.
they're serving
Like, they
dragons.
don't need. Yeah, they don't need like anybody else to survive. Really, like they
Maybe
are
that's
well
another
on their
thing, right?
own.
Maybe like kobolds are just serving dragons, and dragons are another
Yes.
power in the world, and the old conflict with the Dark Lord and the non-monstrous race happened. The dragon didn't get involved at all. Like they didn't fucking give a shit.
Yeah,
They just like do their stuff, right? But now
sleeping
maybe some of
on
the
top of
dragon
the.
also want to say, you know what? Now there's this all those like I have my kobold servant, but I could maybe have an orc servant too, right? That's also something that could happen if we have like another faction there in the mix. We also like don't have to make it too complex, right? But
Or,
But it
or
makes sense
maybe
to be more than two forces, you know. So
I was going to
yeah,
say,
correct.
or maybe instead of being uninvolved and neutral, maybe uh, the conflict between the monstrous races and the more enlightened civilized races was ended because the dragons became involved.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
friendship
they
with
kind
kobolds
of
ended.
crushed everything.
Kobold is new best friend. A goblin is new best friend.
that could be.
Okay, I'm writing down some ideas. The evil Lich Overlord is dead. So this is like a generation later. You said you did not live under his rule.
That's what I would do it, just so we don't have like that. What do you think?
I
Maybe
like
maybe
it.
like there's probably like some
like
people
it.
alive that did, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, the elders.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like your generation grew up in absolute like squalor, poverty.
And I don't know, maybe
You lost everything.
maybe one of us want to play like another guy that did know that, right? Or maybe there's
I
something
was
that
there.
yeah. And yeah, old man.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, back then we had ogres as tall as trees moving open this massive door.
Yeah.
Like it's short.
The
The
boomer
door to
gremlin.
Mordor. Yeah.
We had to
You
serve
tortured
the
this one
Dark
little
Lord
half.
and walk up to the palace uphill both way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Winter, every season was winter season.
Yeah. Awesome.
So okay, so
Okay.
I think that's interesting.
So like how I like that. Like how human-like are the monstrous races we're playing? Like
I wanted to human like. Well, Mr. Max said it right now. Wants the monsters.
Yeah.
like he has a brain,
Rage.
it thinks, it has emotions, but we can go like all in on like does not think like a human, right?
My
like-
question. Go ahead.
For example, like yeah, like how like in Warhammer, both fantasy and 40k, like orcs and goblins, like they come out of the ground as because they're fungus. Like are we going into that like unnatural like element, or are they
we
like,
should
a normal
keep it,
creature?
I think we should keep it like standard fantasy, right? Like just like as much just to reduce the mental load, right? Stuff that we can all like know, all the assumption that we make about orc. We probably all have the same kind of thing, like unless we go like to the weird stuff, right? We understand that the Warhammer orcs are somewhat different than what people like usually think about, right? Stuff like that. So I think like let's just go with default. Are we all on the same page of that? Or did some, and I know like we all from all over the world, right? But does anybody have do we all share the same kind of idea about what orcs are?
I have this
guess.
this thing. So I mean, D&D orcs, they have this thing of like they were created by what, Orcus or something. So like they were created by an evil god,
Yeah.
evil being, to be their servants. So my like idea, like in the background, was, and you guys can say if this is cool or lame,
Okay.
is this is the origin of orcs. So you have this deep-seated like hatred put in by divine being of the reason you exist, to raid, to pillage, to destroy, and
When it comes
to
to
counter
those,
that, because that was like many generations ago. That wasn't your times.
no, when it comes to like
And-
those creation myth and stuff like that, I like to keep them as myth, right? Like that's what people
Yeah,
believe.
we
Like,
don't know, right? Exactly.
like
Yeah,
That's what
nobody.
people say.
but when for the and that can be like what people like say and believe, and yeah, we were created by Grumsh and whatever, right? Just like when people like what I see as orc, right, is like well, we know they. I'm thinking of the joke like when the orcs say like, "Oh, meat's back on the menu," and then somebody say like, "Wait, orcs have menus? Do they have like restaurant and reading language, and do they have like concept of ordering cuisine?"
Yeah.
Oh,
It's cargo.
No, like I think like they
croissants are back on the menus, boys.
yeah for me, like, you know, like they're biological creature, right? So they have like
Okay,
needs
uh-huh.
for like
Yeah.
food and
Yes.
some kind of
Sleep.
shelter and sex and stuff like that. They
They
don't
seek
think in the long
shelter,
term.
they seek community.
They don't, yeah, and they're very hierarchical. That's the way that's something I would say about them. They are very impulsive, very violent, very self like a low like they don't think of the consequence of the action in the long term.
Mhm.
Yes.
Low impulse control, right? That's all kind of thing that I would attribute to
Like
orc.
more beast-like qualities, right?
Yeah,
I would
they're
say
like
like
Hmm?
the orcs who stray against that, those are the spiritual ones, the seers, the prophets, the one that found a connection with nature that like counterbalances that impulse,
No,
yeah, or
every
the
brings
like
or
calm to the rage.
go ahead, Nick.
eventually, as there comes up about a smart one, so it has to eventually.
Yeah, yeah, and either he get killed early because he doesn't know, he doesn't
Yeah,
figure out how to use his smart to survive,
Yes,
or he becomes something big, right? And like they still use tools, they still like build stuff, but it's very rudimentary because they don't think in the long term. They don't have this notion of sacrificing, like very very high
No
time
thought for the
preference.
morrow.
Yeah, they want thing
yeah,
now. They're gonna
and
they're
and
gonna take
it's
like
it's it's frowned upon, right? You, why? What do you mean? Think about next year. We have
yeah
problems
yeah
now.
yeah. Like they never wait for a second marshmallow, right? They always eat the one in front of them. If
yeah.
Yeah,
if you get what I mean, right?
I like that.
Planning was for the Lich, right? So
Yeah, they don't have the concept of the future.
Yeah, and they need to be, if they can be like used and driven in some kind of, like, for most people, like some orcs probably can think a little more of the future, and they're the one that, but like, and the way to kind of gather the tribe or the group of orc, it's mostly like you cannot convince them like, no, it's going to be good. No, you have to kind of force them in one direction, right?
They,
Exactly.
That's
when asked, how do you feel if you didn't eat breakfast?
exactly, they,
Hmm.
they get upset.
yeah.
They flip the table.
You get you get it.
I did not want onions tonight.
And they,
What
they
is
don't have
this?
like a they don't have like a they don't have like a concept of morality, really, right? They don't have like a, they might have like some kind of concept of honor, of personal
Yeah.
Probably
honor,
a
right? If you slide against me and
might
stuff like
make
that.
right type of.
Yeah, very much so.
I
The
like
only
that.
the only virtue is strength.
I like to throw in a little bit of an predator concept of he does not hold a weapon. He's not a threat
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
Like he's a coward. I will not sully
but it
my
could be
blade
food.
with his blood.
Mhm.
Like that's like a different tribe. They honor the ones without weapons, and the other ones are like, "Fuck that! I slaughter everybody in my path."
Like you think they should have a concept of fair fight? Maybe that's a big distinction between like orcs and goblin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between orcs and goblins.
Goblins. A lot of things that I said about orcs are true about goblins as well, but goblins also like have this greed kind of thing and this compulsion to war.
Underhanded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like Goblin, like whatever will keep me alive and fed is like it's fair game,
What do you
Totally.
think? Jacob?
The only
Yeah,
virtue
I
is
would
not
say
being dead.
the goblins are more by any means necessary or underhanded.
Yeah. Because like even crocodiles can like in captivity, like they're not tame. They just understand like, oh, if I don't eat the guy, he throws me meat every day, So
Yeah.
Hmm.
this is a good relationship.
You see, like, I don't know, like I tend to see like goblins a little bit, usually oftentimes a little smarter than orc for some reason, but like I don't
It's
know if that's
shrewdness, right?
Or cunning.
like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
a little more cunning. That'll be the right word, right? And like they like to maybe a little scheme a little more. Like, the greed for
exactly.
me is big, is something I share with
It's
the goblin,
because
being
Mischievous,
subversive.
yeah,
manipulating.
a situation where a orc can get what he wants by force is very likely, whereas to a goblin he cannot do that. So he needs to find other ways to get what he needs. That
It's,
will force you to be more cunning, right?
and in that dynamic, right, there's probably something that the goblins are kind of like subservient to the orc to some extent.
Yeah,
But there's
because it
probably many
pays off.
cases when when the goblins manage to get the orcs to do their bidding
They're
by
much
like
more cruel than
manipulation, right?
yeah,
Yeah, by that's probably kind of dynamic I would see in that case, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and
It's like they're
then
subservient,
you
but it's probably
see
not all a bad deal for them because they also like keep them safe to
exactly.
some extent and keep them fed, and then they can also get their
Yeah.
way sometime.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
goblins who do achieve that, I feel like those are also the goblins that get real lazy real fast. They lay on their laurels, so to say. I got one up on the orcs.
It's natural
my stuff.
selection, There's a way why all goblins that you see are very thin. There's a reason for that.
Do we have
Like,
do you
full-
have something
full of
else? Or do you have only
themselves.
do you have something else, or do you only have the orcs and goblin?
I
Is
like
there something else in the group?
well,
Yeah, like I'm down to
That's
pay
for you guys. How
a
complex?
goblin.
how rich is his tapestry?
I think like if we if we don't throw too much in the bowl, it's less for us to handle, right? We don't have to like juggle we don't have to juggle like too many balls at once.
And we can come up with stuff during the game, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better. I don't know. Yeah, correct. I'm figuring out Max will play an orc, right?
I could play a goblin as well. Like I'm fine with both, right? Like I like both.
We can throw in ogres, but then I don't think they are
It's too
playable.
big, right?
I don't think it would
Yeah.
work.
Right.
Yeah.
Might as well play the Lich,
Wow.
Well, I was interested in either a lizard folk or an orc, but I'll go with whatever best fits the vibe of the group.
Yeah. We can do 2 orc. Like Nicholas has to be like set on a goblin. We can do like 2 orc a goblin, or we
Yeah.
can do like an orc and 2 goblin, because I'm fine with either way. Which is more interesting? The orc guy with his 2 goblin bitch and trying to solve a problem. Or
Yeah.
is that a dynamic that
Like,
makes sense?
One
I like that.
one goblin on this
guess.
shoulder, the other goblin on that shoulder, whispering in your ears.
Yeah. I feel like they're like having like the goblins will figure out, oh, we outnumber him. Like we can like when he's sleeping, I think like the orcs is like they know that they can use goblins, but like they have to keep an eye. Like,
And the goblins, they know, hey, he can only catch one of us before we kill him.
So
But-
just
but
have to be
also, like,
faster than you.
But also, if
I
you're
just
the
have
goblin
to
and you say,
run
well,
faster
there's
than
a
you.
lot of us. Sorry, you're correct. I was talking about you.
No, I said I just have to run faster than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, like I think also the goblin are smart enough to say, like, well, yeah, sometimes it sucks to be under that orc, but there's a lot of hostile stuff out there toward us, and having the orcs around also like kind of like protect us
Yeah.
a bit, right?
We need him.
It's like it's not a great relationship, but it's kind of like a bit symbiotic, right? Just like
Yeah, I was thinking like of like a symbiotic. They kind of found this niche where things work 70 to 80% of the time.
yeah.
It's easier to catch mates with traps than hunt the wolf for 3 days.
Because exactly like the goblin can run behind a big orc when something bad happens, and all I need to do is like obey orders most of the time.
Goblins also probably like contribute a lot to like the making tools and shelter and shit like that,
Yeah.
right? The orcs also don't have to, I don't have to fix my own roof, right? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
goblin do it.
Sending the goblins, right?
Yeah.
Like they're lighter anyway to go up there and fit
Yeah.
into
Like,
small spaces.
I'm gonna patch my own pants, right?
Exactly.
So
The goblin.
with that, like tools,
Gather
stone,
food,
copper, like surface metals, right?
Or
We are not forging steel here. Or maybe the last generation under the Lich did, and they're all scattered.
No, a lot of the tools are probably like we fix them probably mostly, and
Yes.
Yeah.
they're tools that are stolen, right?
And you pillage, yeah. You pillage each other, you pillage the other races.
Yeah, I feel like steel is rare. You need to have successfully raided, and I feel like level 3. Your guys are level 3. Like you did not get spoils yet as part of the tribe. How do you feel about
I don't know. I don't think it adds. I don't think it's because now like are we gonna make different weapon do different damage because they're not steel and stuff like that, or you want to add a whole mechanic for that?
I was
roleplay.
thinking of they break, but I feel like it's not needed. It's really just roleplay,
Mm.
and up to you guys. We can ignore it because I don't think it like. I feel like so. What I would put on the table is I attack your weapon, and a good
Yeah.
strike can bend
Yeah.
it out of shape.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm not like against it. I don't know if it like adds
Any
yeah, I don't know if the I don't know
Okay.
if the
Yeah,
the juice is worth the squeeze, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
D&D doesn't really add rules to that. It's very basic for combat like that. Like you have
I mean, okay,
one
if
class that has
like
cool moves.
if I have like this flint knife and the guy hits with a hammer on it, like it's gonna shatter, it's gonna break.
And also like yeah, and the thing also like the first time we're gonna kill somebody that has normal weapon, we're gonna
yeah,
get them,
it's free
right?
loot. It's free real
It's,
estate, man.
yeah,
So
it's
like
yours
you
now.
you say like oh you're level 3, you probably wouldn't have reached that. As if we
Mm.
ever met anybody that had like we do, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, yeah. It sounds to me like it's another problem that cannot be solved with roleplay. Hey, you shoot your bow, I fucking swing my axe at your bow, break it in half, because I can roll for success.
First of all, I don't even think you should be able to like draw a bow while like engaged in
Engage in combat. Yeah, well,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like
If you're like
like
in melee,
yeah, there's
I mean that's a rule. You shoot a bow in melee, he attacks you. That's an
yeah,
opportunity attack.
you just can't. It's easier to stab with like the point of the end
yeah.
of the arrow than
Written lies say like talk about goblins at a time where the horde has been decimated. They need to survive, rebuild, and compromise. Maybe maybe there's a dynamic there, right? At some point, maybe the goblins have some resentment because maybe they're older than the orcs, and at some point they were the one that were like the big monster on the block until like the orcs got like
like.
fashioned
But
some way.
I think due to the greedy nature, it's hard to keep a goblin civilization. I think it's gonna like to break off like in weeks.
Yeah, they always have
They
to
can help
mooch another
themselves.
like similar civilization,
Yeah, exactly.
and then like the other civilization always like kick them out
Like
repeatedly.
a goblin may hate serving an orc, but he hates even more serving another goblin. Like, oh, you think you're better than me? Like. And so I think just won't happen.
Right.
And you guys wanted low magic, so like your tribe, the people you know, none of them have magic. There's no goblins making deals with demons.
Shamans.
No, I think it
Or
could be. I think it
shamans?
could be like shamans or shaman.
Yeah.
Is it shaman or is it shaman? It's shaman, no?
I say
Okay.
shaman in Portuguese, but I don't know if in English you need to,
Like
go
I
a bit
hear in
Anglo.
English they say it's shamans. Like
Let's
shaman.
ask the one English speaker that we have.
Yeah, crap. Speak for all the Americans,
Yeah.
as a
not the Indians, just the Americans.
I think it's because when you talk about shamanism, it would be
Oh yeah,
shamanism,
you don't say
There we go.
shamanism.
shaman.
I think it's
You know,
it's like an accent thing. It's fine.
the
I will. There
the
could be, but like, are they like, like extending their hand and like throwing lightning bolts, or is it just more like I hear a
yeah.
voice saying me that we can go north and there will be, or I talked with the bear spirit.
So it's the gritty realism rule. So if they cast magic, like they have access to it like once a week, or they have to pace themselves, or they're
Yeah.
vulnerable to like a sudden assassination.
Yeah, I
No,
wanted to ask
that's
about
good. What?
have we decided that at least one person is going to be a magic user, and have we decided
No.
that low magic means that how does the decision of low magic coincide with the gritty realism and the fact that spell slots will be more limited?
Well, I think like with the gritty rhythm, like spell slot like do refresh when you take a long rest. So you have like they refresh basically like between adventure, right? You need to have like
But
some
like
downtime
the idea
and
of
stuff like that.
spell slots is that it's not that I forgot and cannot use it anymore. Is that like I needed like this iguana tail and I use it on my spell, right? Or
Yeah, it
not?
would
Or am
have
I
to be
crazy?
either role played in like your spell components, like I don't have any more back guano to cast fireball, or it would have to be like uh, my god's not answering my prayers, or
Yeah.
uh, nature isn't answering the call.
But are we gonna play
Or
like any
or it could
because
be like just I'm tapped out of magic energy, right? I'm like
that's
Yeah.
the magic
Your
the
mana is
mana.
low.
yeah.
You are
I
low
need
on mana.
better
I need
better
some
drink a
rest.
potion.
Yeah,
This is why you have to meditate 10 hours a day and only eat cheese and fruit
Yeah.
to recover.
cheese and fruit. That sounds good,
And you can
man.
let the fruits away.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only
You're
cheese is pretty
that one
in
orc
orc
who can
culture.
never eat meat because they have to recover their mana. So it's like, no,
Yeah.
another 1 week fast because I cast the spell.
Yeah, I think we didn't come to. I don't think we came to a fast conclusion. Like if we have any magic user in the party. I think like the way I see when I say like low
I
magic,
know.
I think, like magic user are a thing. They're around. You just don't see them
Yes.
every corner, right? I'm
Yeah,
okay with having a magic user in the party. I think especially with the greedy realism rules, I think that can be interesting for the challenge as well, right?
interesting.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
manage the spell and stuff like that.
I think it would be very fun roleplay wise too. Like, oh wow, you are shaman, like you are sorcerer, you were born
I
with
was
the gift or
I was
warlock
thinking
pact.
about that because if you look at all the spells, they have verbal, somatic, and material components. So like, I was thinking to myself like, how would I role play this? Like, if I'm gonna cast a spell,
Um,
uh,
it's a little bit of more work
I'd
for
have to
you as the player, but yeah,
I'd have to come up with like a list of words of like, this is the word I say when I cast fireball,
Kawabunga,
whatever.
you know.
I love it.
Yeah. Is that something that interests you? Is that something you want to do? Like play like the orc magic user?
Potentially, I was definitely exploring the
You're like
avenue.
an albino orc, an albino orc.
That'd be pretty badass.
You
Um,
know, like every orc is
Let
brown,
him let
but
him
you
let
are
him
the
talk,
green
guys.
orc.
Don't say that.
Stop interrupting.
Sorry.
Finish your thought, yeah, crap. Sorry.
I mean, I don't think I really had much more else to add. I what I did was I just looked at the spell list and I picked out a word that maybe is evocative of the spell and just throw it in Google Translate and get like the Sanskrit uh, translation. And
Mhm.
so instead of saying fireball, you might say the Sanskrit word for fire or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then
Sound good.
you come up with a little hand gesture that your character does so that you can
And
say,
Mm.
I,
I
I
I love the
take this
way,
out of my bag.
yeah.
Something like I take a pinch of back guano out of my component pouch and I point at the human and say Agni, and a spark of light lands at his feet.
yeah,
How'd you learn these words? Like, is it like spirits whisper in your dreams and like you heard a word?
can you read?
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on the
You read?
lore.
We read?
It could be
Yeah, like you make the lore, right?
Mhm.
it depends on if
You play
you're
wizard,
like
you make
a
the lore.
arcane caster or a divine caster. Or,
Yeah, that's the other question. Like, are you gonna go druid? Are you gonna go like wizard, warlock, cleric?
well,
Sorcerer.
If you
if
want to
it's
do
gonna
like the
be
magic user
monstrous,
thing.
I feel like druid is the best fit thematically because they're more shamanistic. Or
Become animals.
Mm-hmm.
priest.
How tackling the animal?
I'm not a priest. There's my World of Warcraft rank. Uh, a cleric might be okay too if it's the right deity.
Mm-hmm.
Claire
like
can work.
is that where we're going now? Because I think like this, like maybe like the kind of character we want to play, right? I think that can influence a lot of like the kind of starting thing, like the premise and stuff like that. I think that
Yes.
I like what we have with the kind of like background information about the world building now, right? Okay, we have like this Lich that has been vanquished. Let's just say it's a Lich, right? Just because we've been like that, right? Been vanquished generation ago. The monster has been spread out, and now like there's this power vacuum. Like I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting to explore. We can explore like this those monstrous culture and how they interact with each other. Be something very different than playing human. And now for like if I think from the character, we might be able to decide a little more. Like are we on some kind of why do we work together? Are we on some kind of mission and stuff like that, right? And I think like for me, if somebody wants to play a magic user, I think that's probably going to influence a lot the kind of character that I make.
I think that we have just in our premise a very obvious like potential motivation for a character. With
Yep.
that power vacuum, like any of the characters could be vying to be one of the new war chief, or they could be I don't know. That just seems like the most obvious thing. It's like maybe your orc is trying to be the new head honcho, right? Something like that. And then the other two characters could be um, your lackeys or your the tools that you've selected as the means to your end. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
So who's gonna make the first decision? Are you pretty much set, Yakrep? You seem to have like a, or what about you, Nicholas? Like in Nicholas, I think you're pretty much set to play a goblin, right?
I'll be a goblin. I'll be a bastard. I have my blood.
Alright.
I have it in my blood.
Do you have an idea for like the class?
Uh, so I was thinking. So if it's going to be like kind of like a servant, do all, like a kind of a rogue, like maybe a scout guy. Like go ahead. Like you're small, you can go ahead scout, catch like some squirrels or something, some berries, and bring it back. So that's how he survived.
Like the ranger would fit the
Maybe ranger,
description
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like
I don't
like
know.
a ranger.
Go ahead.
Like you said you played like D&D once. Is that right?
I played a few times. It's just I don't remember the rule, like the difference. I remember like the ranger is mostly like survival and traveling. Like most of his skill sets
Yes.
for that. But I'm thinking like as the goblin, like the skills he would have is more related to a rogue. Like spying on
Okay.
people. Because like the arcs having fighting as well, so it's good to have an extra pair of ears, and I don't know. Feels like a rogue would be more useful.
That's also like the background system in the game can help you with that. Like you prefer a class, but you want to be a roguish archetype, then you can have like a criminal background or spy background to help you fill in the gaps to make them fit.
I don't know. It's just the mental image I have in my head. I feel like the rogue skill set fits into that character. Like he
Sounds
doesn't
good.
call himself a rogue. He's just a goblin.
Just a thief.
Yeah.
Like all
the
goblins.
Yeah.
default.
Exactly. It's synonymous.
Every orc calls you a rogue.
So what about like
It's
what
just
about
a
you,
simple
Yakrep?
word.
Do you have an idea, Yakrep? Like is it like a little more like settling down in your mind? Is it like more are you getting the picture solidifying? That's what I'm looking for.
Well, like I said, I was really brewing on the idea of a lizard folk druid, but I do totally understand if the alien brain and the sort of calculated inhuman nature wouldn't be a good fit. But
I mean, like, I'm not completely opposed to it personally. Like, and
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
like, I'm kind of going back to it, but like, especially if you like go with the druid and stuff like that, that can be like something that, you're kind of the outsider. Maybe like maybe that's an angle that you're brought in, and I'm not completely opposed to it. It does change the dynamic a bit, but
Yeah.
It's pretty much down to your comfort level of role playing like a more alien character. It makes it harder on you. So if you
and
feel
it's
like
gonna
you have that experience, you want to try it.
it's gonna
I,
change like also like the dynamic within the party, right? It's gonna
Exactly.
so
There might be
is that
more,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
you
Yeah.
yeah.
Character
Is
versus
that something
character
you're
role
you're
playing.
you're you're willing to explore, or do
yeah, yeah. If you guys are on board, I'd love to give it a shot.
Argonian, it is.
there you go.
Okay.
Argonia.
Then I'll be an orc,
Be a goblin.
and
Then I need you to answer what is the lizard folks part of the tribes, like in the grand scheme, like what was your specialty or what got you in,
like
because
my
there's
question
like a
is like,
hacking order. Are you just
yeah.
like the what is it called, the mercenary armies, because you're not part of the tribe but you're monstrous enough?
So, as far
You
as
are green enough. Sorry.
yeah, Green Gang. Um, so the way I imagine this is that um, while the other races like the bugbears and goblins and orcs, they banded together for the 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 common interest. I feel like the lizard folk could have been involved just based on the fact that they like to eat humanoids, and where there's
Wow.
carnage, uh, there's meat, you know. And I
Or the
imagine that
arcs.
they uh, they could have joined the war chief's horde just to take part in it that way.
So you'd be kind of like there's not a bunch of lizard men around in the tribe. You're like an outsider. You came in like maybe opportunistic reason and stuff like that, and then like because you have like those power, we saw that, yeah, you know what, this guy maybe is worth keeping around. Will it be like the kind of dynamic?
Yeah, I think that could work. And you guys slaughter a village of people, and then I get to scarf some snacks down and carve some bones for casting spells with their entrails or whatever, you know.
May I throw a
Oh,
concept?
nice.
What about your egg? Maybe, you just hatched where we were or something like that. You don't need
Or yeah,
just something that crossed my mind.
if it could have been that in the orcs and goblins in their raiding they acquired a lizard folk egg and hatched and raised it, and I just have no clue anything about lizard folk culture.
You just think you're a funky looking orange. Yeah, okay.
What
Well,
what's
the
wrong
lizard
with
folk,
this third leg he has? I don't know. It's like,
the lizard folk, if I remember correctly in D&D lore, they're famous for not thinking,
Yeah.
and their main interests are just like surviving and eating.
Mm.
yes.
The four F's.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can
How did
linger on
you
that.
become a druid? How did you get like this druidic power?
well, if I remember correctly, in in the lore of D&D, I think that most of the lizard folk are really dumb, and then some of them are like middling, what you'd consider like passable human intelligence. They uh, those like slightly smarter ones are the ones that end up being their like war chief's advisors and their priests and their druids.
So that's something like from birth, like you're kind of like birth, like it's like biological deterministic, right? Like you're born to it'll be due that you're like it's just a chance that you're born in that tribe as a stolen egg or whatever, right? And then like you would have become like the shaman of the lizard folks no matter what, right? Or the druid of the lizard. Is that what is that how it goes?
I don't remember that. The only thing I can remember is that they like bury their eggs, and based on what they're buried in, that kind of influences how the lizard comes out as an adult. I don't remember the specifics.
I
I love
remember
that.
reading about that. Yeah, like the minerals
Yeah.
on the earth, and yeah, the one influence.
I
Yeah.
like that.
No, but
Well,
we're not also beholden to D&D lore, but like I like that. If you want to go with that, right? Just like
yeah. Or
is that like
I was thinking as you're talking about that, about you know, at birth the wise lizard woman or whatever reads the stars for you to like gleam your path of like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the next shaman of the tribe.
or really it's really like based on like 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 our bees, right? All bees are born the same, but the way that they're treated as when they're like larvae change. Are they gonna
Oh yeah,
they're
Oh,
gonna mutate, right?
whether they
Like
get the royal honey, the royal
Yeah.
jelly.
Yeah, and
jelly.
same thing with ants as well, right? Just like the way that they treat like the larva and the eggs, right? Change the type of ants that gonna and the colony adapt based on the need. So
that's
like
cool.
it's probably something like that, no? And now like this colony of lizard, it's probably like a colony of lizard folk that have been fucking decimated by the orcs at some point. And then like they found some eggs, they ate most of them, but like this fucking stupid goblin wanted to keep one and try to add shit for some reason.
Maybe he wanted to sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to make a century egg out of it, to eat it later.
Yeah,
The lizard comes up.
or you're just curious because like yeah you're a goblin but you're not the dumbest one maybe like and then you just figure out what would happen and now we have this like lizard guy sticking around. Would that be an interesting dynamic?
You're okay. I keep coming up with ideas, so I don't want to like overrule your ideas with my own. Like,
Well,
the-
I'm pushy too, right? So like,
yeah,
you have to fight push back.
like the lizard egg, because you are part of the new generation. Your egg, like it could be part of a cluster that was buried under the fallen tree of a dryad, like a fallen dryad tree, amongst the guts and carnage of dead soldiers. That's how you hatched. It was like a almost like a sign of destiny. It's like why you have the magical powers, the connection with earth and nature and death so strongly.
Because what I'm interested in now like is in the dynamic between like the party, right? Like
Yeah.
if Nyx want to play like the bastard and the bastard goblin, and Yakrep want to play like the lizardman, which is gonna be an outsider, and I'm gonna be the orc then, right? Like I'm gonna be, and I was thinking like maybe there's a thing that kind of like a dynamic of like the orc that is kind of like bullying his little goblin around, and the little goblin that is kind of responsible for having this lizard guy around, and kind of like this.
Is the goblin is responsible for the big lizard?
Yeah, because you're the one that wanted to keep the egg, no?
Oh, I'm responsible as in I was a catalyst of his coming to be. Okay.
Yeah.
You are his father.
In a
Basically,
weird,
like
messed
I
up
don't know.
way.
It's like I don't want like put something on your character. I'm just like
Yeah, of course.
I'm just thinking of like one kind of dynamic that could exist, right? That's what I'm interested in, like in figuring out, right?
I could be I'm down. Like, could have been my goblin. Could have been another goblin. I'm
Yeah,
down.
could have
Like,
been another
what?
goblin
Yeah,
as well.
correct. Think. What do you think is more interesting? Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm okay with the idea that, I mean, I could basically think that you're like the father figure.
That would
I
not
don't
be
know.
good for you. Okay,
That's
okay, let's
interesting.
say so. You hatch. The orcs see like this humanoid lizard thing. Like, oh, we can use this. Like, I think the orcs would take. Like don't let a goblin raise like a possible like war ally. Like,
Yeah.
So you said something earlier that I thought would be
unless
appropriate
I
because
heed you and.
What the
Go ahead.
heck? What you said about the crocodile in a
In
zoo?
captivity.
So it understands that it's going to have an easy life and it's going to get fed if it just doesn't fight the trainers or the zookeeper or whatever. It could be that kind of dynamic too, where it's just like maybe I'm not so sure about this orc. He could probably kill me, but if I follow them around, I get food and safety.
Yeah.
So are you physically like not as strong as the regular lizard man?
I guess that depends on how we roll our
'Cause
stats.
I feel like without weapons, a lizard man could like deal some havoc, you know?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
Just
early
with the bite alone?
I think earlier we showed the table of height and weight. I think the base weight for an
Yes.
orc is like 175 pounds, and the base weight for a lizard man is 120. So I think they might be a
Yeah.
little bit smaller in
I don't know
D&D's
pounds,
lore.
man.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think like the lizard
Uh,
men in D&D like are smaller than the orcs.
Oh,
the
okay.
orcs are 80 kilos, and lizard men are more like 60.
70, 77. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big
Sorry,
difference.
So
I
is that
only
what we're
speak
doing? Like
freedom
I
unit.
like that dynamic where it's going, right? I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay,
And we
so
can,
so
that's
no
something we can
no
figure out
lizard
also
folk
like a
tribe. It's like one outsider.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you probably also like I think also like the lizard men like are much younger, right? They have like shorter lifespan, no?
They mature faster and die sooner.
So you're probably like
Mostly
much younger than me and
The other
to
one.
be like 7 to 12 years old, something like that. You said it was a generation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Mm.
it.
I like it.
I was thinking that maybe goblins live up like to 20, but that could be because they all die young, you know, like just the
Yeah.
livelihood. So nobody really knows. Maybe they could even be immortal, but we never know.
Yeah, I think like you probably like goblins are probably like the kind of like they if they can survive, they can probably like live like we don't really know like what's a goblin dying of old age. Like they probably don't have a cap. It's just like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I was tempted by doing the orc. I thought at some point doing an orc bard. I wanted to do like a bard, and I said like my art form is gonna be torture.
Okay. It's pain
Well,
magic, you know. You do pain
yeah,
magic.
if you want to roleplay torture as your key feature for your character, it's gonna be like a big focus in the game. Because
Yeah, but
it would
I
be
don't think I'm
really
gonna
weird
go.
if you cut away every time you want to torture somebody and do your big thing, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go
No.
this way though because of the dynamic we have now. Like that, like because that wouldn't be like a leading kind of role, right?
Mhm.
So now like I was thinking like maybe barbarian, but that's kind of like doubling down on the orcs too much. I feel. So
I'm going
maybe
You
rogue
are
with the goblin. Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's also doubling down.
Well, you can do it if you want. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I
Well,
don't feel like
I was
doing
Yes.
it.
gonna say one of the
Okay.
goblin's features is basically a rogue feature.
Yeah.
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 Are you playing a character or a caricature? That's the question.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the answer. A monk can be a goblin monk.
A goblin monk. Okay. It's just like that's weird, right? Like
I have achieved eternal peace.
swamp
Okay.
kung fu. You know.
Yeah, monks are just like like the whole thing about like the monk archetype of like it's all bullshit. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like mechanically they're just like unarmed fighter basically, like and
Yeah.
still monkey. And they can have arm too, or weapons too. Ranger
Yeah.
is really
Warrior,
tempting to me.
ranger. You can get, yeah.
You could have a pet if you went the
Yeah.
ranger, the goblin with
I
his
am the pet. My character is the pet.
yeah, like the goblin with his
Less so
cockatrice,
than I.
or with the wolf or the warg. The lizard folk is your pet. Oh god.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that would fit. Like what? That would fit. Like what is this? Why would this orc keep a lizard folk around? Well, it's a kind of ranger, right? He likes animal and shit like that for some reason.
He thought
You think
he's raising a lizard, but then it stood up.
yeah. But then you think like he likes animal like not in a way that like we
Yeah.
human do, but like you think they're neat, right? You think they're interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. He
He likes to keep them
appreciates
around.
them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amusement of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's not
so
very
I
it's
know
not very
these kids,
kind to them, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Orc ranger.
And it's normal. I mean, you some orcs are just peons, They look after the farms, or not farms, but more like pig farms,
Yeah,
They keep
the mushroom
wolves,
pit.
or they raise wargs for war, and stuff like that.
They
Some
probably have like some
spiders,
farms, but like it's probably like mostly like
mushroom
they
farms.
didn't really figure out like breeding themselves, right? So maybe like they just like
Yeah.
raid for animals and like now they have a farm until the animals are gone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we have
Somebody likes
milk for a month before the cow is dead
yeah,
because somebody ate her.
because like oh now I want meat. Oh now I cannot have cheese anymore.
Yeah.
No, I can no longer recover my magic spells. No,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Orc
I mean,
cheese is a thing,
fish is
by the
like-
way, like like from the thing like orc don't produce much of value, but they can make a mean cheese. The only thing that's
Yeah.
positive.
The famous green cheese, it's coveted.
Just don't ask which mammal the cheese is from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Questions better not asked.
Yeah, and like the hunter archetype, like maybe that's kind of like my beastmaster. A beastmaster could work too in the tribe, right?
Oh, for the
Yeah.
orc. Yeah.
That would make a lot of
Hunter-
sense.
I want to, like we said about like low magic, but I want the
Yeah.
fantastical elements for the monsters. Like imagine a blink dogs out in the wilds,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I think
what
it
are they
should
called?
be
Like
out there.
stealthy panthers, like face
Yeah,
spiders.
Displacer beast, right?
Yeah. Here be monsters. This is why it's uncivilized lands. You're trying to find a place. I mean, you decide. What are you doing? Scouting party, looking for power to assert yourself as the new tribe's leader to become war chief? Is that the grand plan, and you work in that direction?
I like
Was it
the idea of a scouting
idea?
party. I like the idea of scouting party because like that gives us a lot of opportunity to be independent, to go out in the wild, adventuring and stuff like that, right? We're not stuck like doing like politics and sitting in the tavern and like going to council and like fighting in the tribe, right? And with this kind of party composition that we have now, it's also like kind of makes sense, right? Like if I'm playing the ranger and like he's going with his like assistant in a way, right? His little like goblin slave
Yeah.
and
Where do you
lizard
want
folk
to
kind of
be?
pet.
Yeah.
It's just like you're a goblin, like every arc pretty much has a goblin, like, it's like, oh yeah, that's my goblin.
Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
pet goblin.
Yeah, like it's kind of like expected that you're gonna have like some goblins like at your service, right?
Exactly.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that slavery, right?
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Is that a thing? Do
Of course
orcs do the tribes care about slaves?
Okay, so like,
Yes.
is it slave in the sense that you're forcing them to work, or because I feel like the orcs were just like captured to eat later,
It's part
Because
of
like
it. There's
you
probably like a
have
variety
goblins
of
to do the work, and
Oh,
the
yeah,
goblins
yeah.
will not revolt, at least most of the time. So
Yeah, no, you're right. Like if you like non goblin and stuff like that, right? It's probably like you capture them and like we're gonna bring in you if you keep
ransom,
you
okay.
alive, you remain like fresh meat, right?
Yeah.
We don't have refrigeration, right? What's the best way to keep like meat fresh, keep it alive?
Exactly.
So do you care about any of the other races, like you raid a human settlements, so you kept some of the women alive or the men to work to do hard labor for the
We
orcs?
need to talk
No,
about the
Don't
thing.
really care.
we don't
It's
no
like
because
we
that's
trade.
too much. That's too much planning ahead, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna capture some human to have them like forge weapon for us, right? We're gonna
Mm.
kill them and take the weapon that they forge already.
Take their cattle.
Yeah, take the cattle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be an orc ranger. And do you want us to roll the stat or we didn't discuss that, right? How did we define the stat now? Are we all set on what we're gonna play now?
So
Let's go around one more time. Are we all set on what we're gonna play? Yeah, crap. You
yeah, crap, druid.
Dread Lizard Man.
Okay.
Love it.
And Nicholas, are you sticking with Rogue Goblin?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. There you go. So we have our party.
And
Good
Mr.
thing.
Max, you are the orc that does what
Only
now?
took us 3 hours.
The what?
You're playing the orc that does what?
Ranger.
Ranger.
You're gonna be a ranger, strength ranger.
No,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be a string.
Call
I'm
him.
gonna be like a range ranger. I'm gonna be like a melee combat ranger. Like a dual weapon.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. We have a plan. We have a composition. Scouting party. Do you guys like for the session 1? What do you prefer? You get like the pick of what to scout. Like this is your mission. Get it done. Or do I plot you in front of a cave or forest and like have a
So
couple of things planned
we
out?
have a chief amongst like our little group, right? But I feel like I don't know. I would rather we come up with the objective. I don't know.
Do
Like
you,
my character will not be pulling much because like
Oh, okay.
you
So
know.
the party,
But
you guys came up with the plan to scout, like gain favor that way.
Planning and
It's
conquest.
not like a top-down command from the tribe of the hierarchical structure.
Oh, I said
It's not.
sort of
Yeah.
planning your conquest or determining who you're gonna subjugate first.
so would you rather like basically us not starting the action, right? We start like in normal life, or I think that's the big question, right? Are we starting like
Yeah, that's a big question.
are
Yeah,
we starting like,
exactly.
oh, now you have to do this to like now you have this immediate problem to take care of, or you're starting like it's kind of like you woke
a
up this
normal day.
morning and it was a rain day.
Yeah,
Uh,
I want to allow the 4D element, right? Like the co-creation. So if I
I need a quick
start with,
second. I'll be back.
okay, so if I say like you arrive at the ruins, it's like your scouting party, then you can go right in the action, but I take away your choice if we start there, you know. So it's not quite sure how. Yeah.
Like
How do you
I'm not
feel?
opposed like to that something happened when we're on a scouting mission or a hunting mission, right? That would be like our normal life. I'm not opposed to that, right? Just like you were
Okay,
in like basically like because we almost like we decided on a premise that oh we're like a scouting party or hunting party or
got it.
whatever, right? And so it's not like you kind of forcing something else because like that's the premise we decided. So now we're doing a normal day where we're like hunting or scouting around, and then this happened, right? Uh, like I'm not opposed to that to get the ball rolling. I'm also not opposed to like just like you're like there's something happening like when we're home and and then we decide like oh what we're gonna do now like. But maybe the first one is easier to get the ball rolling.
It sounds good. What kind
What do
of
you think?
like Go ahead. Yeah, Crab, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm imagining that we start. We're out scouting something. We're either looking for food or we're looking for something to pillage, something to steal, to take advantage of. Maybe we smell smoke. We find somebody's campsite. Well,
Sounds great. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
Gives
as
me
well.
like plenty of things for you to stumble over as like the starting point.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
So how do we generate stat? Are we doing like the standard array, the point buy? Or are we doing the rolling?
You roll 3d6 and assign them. That's the hard way to do it.
Yeah.
Or we roll 46. I think it's like 46
lowest.
plus 1 or just 46.
46
take
drop
one
the
away.
lowest. Yeah.
Drop the lowest. And that allows you to be like a bit more powerful, feel more comfortable, feel less horrible if you roll really shitty.
And we're not going down the line. I can put my good
No.
stat where it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
You chose your classes, so we're not going down the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'd roll before choosing classes.
Yeah. You can literally have like two players have a horrible time, and one guy has great stats and man, D&D is really cool. You know.
Yeah. All right. I'm game to do 3d6, but if people want to do 46, I'm okay with that as well, right? But like,
Do you want to mix it?
what? No. What?
You do 3d6, the others do 46. Drop one, the lowest. No? Okay.
Nah, let's all do the same thing, no?
Nicholas, 3d6
Yeah.
or 46 and drop the lowest. Which ones do you want?
We're gonna be in level 3, so it'll be adjusted, right? The 2 levels. We can go just 3d6. It's okay to me.
What do you think, Crap? Are you okay with that?
That's rough.
That's rough.
Yes.
I do like being able to drop lowest. I'm gonna
We
admit.
can do it then.
I'll let
Okay,
you
we'll do
admit
it.
that.
All right, let's do 46 drop the lowest
46,
then.
yeah.
Roll your dice, Sophie's dice. If you have them on your table, roll those, write them down, and put
right
it in
now?
chat. Yes.
So, like, do we roll in order, or like,
Well.
do I get to choose all this?
Wait,
like,
hold on.
those
I thought we just said 3d6. That's like 46.
No, we agree on 46. Drop the lowest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
My mistake.
went.
I misunderstood.
No, we went against democracy. We yielded to Yekrep that wanted to do 46. You know what? That's fine.
Good.
So, do we get to rearrange the numbers?
You drop the lowest and write down.
You place them where
right.
you want. Yeah. No, you place them where you want.
Yeah.
In the,
That was my.
That's 14 for Nicholas.
Yeah, I need to. I'm slow with.
That's
Oh.
okay.
Math.
I just got an 8.
8. Nice. That's what we call roleplay potential.
Exactly.
12 again. Whoops. Okay, my last one.
Okay,
Oh.
so it looks like
13.
it will show roll history. I'm not fully set up to be able to roll on screen.
Yeah, I do not see your roll Yakrep, so.
Right.
Do you understand what we mean with 46 drop the lowest? Did you get that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his favorite.
Do you maybe want to just roll for me? Roll
Sure. It's your.
since I'm not set up.
I can. Do you trust your character that much that I can roll?
I'm
Look
not
how shitty this
suspicious
roll is.
about,
Like I got like a 17. I thought it was be good, but I looked to drop the lowest, and they're all like fucking 4. What
Okay,
a waste of a
you-
17.
You get 15.
I'll put your dice behind you.
You get
7.
7.
Yeah. So what is considered a good roll then?
You get 10.
10 or 11 is average.
I think I did it wrong then. Oh, okay, it's average. Okay.
You get 11.
I got good numbers. Oh.
You get 14. And you get 12.
Oh, 12.
Is that six numbers?
Yes. That's not a bad spread.
Yeah. I'm pretty average.
I got
got, like-
3 15s, 1 14, 9, and a 10. Yeah, that's it. I was expecting like lower numbers, really.
Well, you roll pretty high. You roll pretty well.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think this is.
I usually
pretty
like
damn close
one
to
big
the standard
number
array.
in the rest.
Sorry, what you say?
Oh, like the standard array.
This
Hey,
is
you got
pretty
a
damn close.
17 in there. No, what? A 15? You got a
There's a
good number in there.
I mean, the standard array is not bad.
No, it's pretty high.
All right, so yeah, the ability score increase will change your stats, and that's pretty much it for the stats. Then you just make sure that the orc, the goblin, and lizard folk change is added. Yeah, I screenshotted it and put it into the Discord so you have quick visual. Small points of order. Don't worry about. So you get skills from the class and from the background.
Sorry, my headset just disconnected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Try to reconnect. It's very loud on the StreamYard side.
It's gonna mute.
Okay. Yes. So you can basically get double skills if you choose your class first and then the background. Don't worry about it. If you happen to get a skill doubled, take it away and replace it with a skill that fits.
Yep.
That's pretty much how they fix it in later editions. And the other way to do it is making your background first, and that just feels weird and wonky.
So do I go through my...
I can't hear anything. I'm going to try leaving and rejoining.
Okay.
Do I go through my... I get an ability score increase to Dex and Constitution. Do I add that now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It adds to the number. So instead of 12, you have 14.
It's too high, these numbers.
You roll very well. It's,
and then I'm gonna still add another 2 levels, right?
No.
Another 2 what?
You gain. You can gain.
No, because we're gonna start on level 3, right?
You start at level 3.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, you don't get a point every level.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's true.
Most classes gain it every 4 levels. And if you're a fighter, pretty much, maybe the barbarian too, you gain it the 6th level too, and the 10th level too. They gain more.
Oh wait, I need to look here in case you recap. Sorry, I was in a different tab. Can you hear us, Jacob?
Yeah, much better now.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to find my way in that Arakokra kind of thing,
All right.
The bird.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll fill that in.
Are we doing Dark Vision or are we dropping it?
Doing back what?
Because I feel Dark Vision is kind of lame.
Dark Vision?
Yeah.
We all
have
have
it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a feature of being a monster. You hunt in the... Being able to hunt in the darkness is the big benefit.
It's not total perception, or it's I can see Like cats, for example, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You see better in the dark. You cannot see in total darkness or magical darkness, from what I understand. It's not like a. There's another one, like, is it blind sight, blind vision, blind? I forgot.
Blind side, I think. Blind
I
sense.
don't think 5th edition makes a difference. They simplified it a lot. Just like, oh, it's dark. If you have dark vision, you can.
How
But if it's like a magical darkness, that overrules it.
Yeah.
If it's a fog, then you see the fog, right? But you don't see through the fog.
are we doing the whole thing together? Or
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't hope. I hope not.
No.
yeah, because it's a bit right. Okay,
Starting to be,
it's just
long now, right? Just like we can fill
Yeah.
that in, and we can talk on the Discord if we have like issues or questions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
So
No, but I think we have a good base set up.
small points of like the background is like full of lore stuff for your character, your personality. You know, you can just use them, and if you don't
Yep.
like them, replace it with something you think fits your character. That is part of the background.
Yep.
They're mostly
Okay.
suggestions, and they have like like an ability that comes up maybe, but don't sweat about it. Most of those abilities are not really used, and they're just like to help
because people
players
don't roleplay.
to roleplay more.
Yeah, because people don't roleplay.
Yeah, exactly. So with with bad players, they all pick the Outlander because it has the best abilities to always know where you went. So that's like the classic
need it.
example. Yeah, I take it. It
Yeah.
fits, but it's also the go-to for everything.
So, is there anything else we need to discuss there, or we now we have 2 weeks also to work on that and like figure out, and we can still talk in the Discord, right, and exchange.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
answering to the scratch, not in Volo's guide at least. I was expecting some penalties as well.
How we can deal with that? Finding, like finding the source.
I suggest you find out what the items do in the rulebook, and you figure out how the weapon system works. If you have questions, I have all the answers. Just drop them in Discord, so I can help out to make it so your character works as how you intend to. And like you start with a backpack full of stuff, so you know if you have the explorer's backpack, know the items in there and what they do.
You probably don't, because you're fucking goblin.
There's also like a list of trinkets. I like that. Gives a bit
Yeah.
of personality. If you want, you can roll on it now to figure out if you have something special in your possession.
Oh man, what page now? Is it on Xanathar or
Play Handbook.
Player's Handbook? Yeah.
It's you can roll a 1d100 and I tell you the trinket.
Oh
in
yeah,
your
if you help
possession.
me. If you help
Yes.
me. 54?
Your screen is not loading for me. 54?
54.
Okay. You gain a candle that cannot be lit.
Oh yeah.
That's useful.
That's my prized possession.
Just made of
Uh,
earwax.
This is a
Yeah,
cursed
like
you have a
tracking, like-
candle, but it cannot be lit. Like, you know, what's up with that?
It's for pranking
I
people.
mean, that's my character goal. Like, every time I have some time, I keep trying to make it, to lit it. I
have to
retired the
write this
character once I
down.
managed to lit
Yeah.
this count.
If there's a, I think maybe we should wrap it up. Like we're now it's 3.5 hours, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want the rolls, Mr. Max. Can you give me one? Or are you fine? You don't want one?
The rolls for what? For the trinket?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you roll for me?
Oh wait, I didn't do it
I will
properly.
do.
I need to do
47?
This and this.
Oh.
No, 52. I guess I forgot. I forgot how percentage dice work in 52.
Yeah.
52?
Yeah.
You have two 2 toy soldiers, one with a missing head.
Toy soldiers? So you probably pillaged those, right?
Yeah, I didn't make them source for sure.
His father pillaged them for him, or something. Up
No,
to
probably
you.
like kill a child for them. 84 for your crap.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like
crap.
the toy soldier is something like my goblin that I found and we kept in the inner arc side. That I want that now.
Yeah,
Like,
crap.
that
You
looks interesting.
possess a receipt of deposit at a bank in a far-flung city.
Really?
Oh, that's
uh,
weird. Those are
yeah,
like more human. Like they make more sense for human, right?
yeah. That's
A
your
receipt
spell
of
book. It's like this receipt. You keep reading the words and it keeps working.
Like who can read? I probably cannot read.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
It says that
it's
I
like
can read the speak goblin, like the right
like a
goblin.
rolled up scroll with a seal on it and everything. You know, it has a receipt. It's just like a deposit. I don't even know if you guys can read what it says. You know what it is. It's
Yeah.
common language. Do you speak
Can you
that?
read your crap?
Oh,
I mean,
let's talk real quick. Sorry, go ahead. You do your thing first.
I don't know if there's really any character options that are illiterate. I mean, I could roleplay as not being able to read, but
I think we can. Yeah, I was gonna say that because I don't want to be able to read and write. At least not common. I think maybe
Yeah.
the goblins like have like sort of like a secret lingo in between them, you know, but like runes, like this is rune for big mean arc, you know, like
Yeah.
this is
If it helps, yeah, crap. I would suggest you can read Draconic, and you can write it if you wanted to.
Draconic?
like-
Where did you learn that?
He's a
is
lizard
it like
folk. It's born. He's
genetic?
born with the Draconic gift.
Like,
Yeah.
like yeah, like are wolves like wolves' social structure is that natural or you know learned?
It's less of an
Not
alphabet and more like of a magical
Uh.
thing. I don't know if you or not.
Well, my character cannot read for sure.
Okay.
That 8 is probably gonna go in intelligence.
I hope
I do have a high int score though.
you're going to be the brains of the operation then.
Disastrous.
Oh, the language
I'm
is
not,
also
not
like
surviving session.
you have the
one.
language for orc and you have the language for goblin. What is the common tongue of the tribes? Because you don't speak common.
Probably
what is
whatever
common
the war
for you?
chief was.
Yeah.
Oh,
York.
the common tongue is orc. We speak orcish.
Yeah.
The goblin
I
goblin
think the
probably
goblin.
the goblin probably can have like their own tongue too. They can probably
Yeah.
speak both, and most orc probably don't speak goblin, and they
Yeah,
probably
I
get
feel like
mad
the-
when the goblins speak goblin among themselves.
Yeah, I feel like goblin is like kind of like a weird lingo, like a bastardization of Arkish, you know.
But if you speak goblin,
Maybe
like
one word.
and like
Yeah,
that probably like get you a beating.
exactly. But you don't do that in public.
I want to know from Yakrep, because there's no common that you've learned amongst your Draconic. Did you learn the common tongue of Orc? Or did you learn Goblin from Nicholas' character? Which one did you pick up on?
I would say that I would probably replace common with orc because that's the culture that I grew up in. And then
Orcs, basically orcs are common. You're right.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
our
hear
common.
I hear Nicholas in Goblin already saying, "How can I reach this kid? He just doesn't understand me."
Oy vey, how can I reach? Don't lay it too thick.
Let's see. I think depending on how this gets built up, I think the default is common and draconic.
Yes.
So you
do write like this a druidic language for druids specifically.
True. So maybe swap common for orc and swap draconic for goblin, perhaps.
Oh, okay. So you
And like
never
don't even
learned
know my own
Draconic.
native, don't know my native tongue.
Oh, that's
I mean,
cool.
if that's how I was raised, then that's the only thing that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I like
it.
that.
Unless there's
like
other lizards in the horde.
Nah, you're the only
You're
one.
not gonna be special. You're gonna be snowflake no more if you have another one.
You can change that backstory if you want. Like, add it in the Discord
And-
if you change your mind on that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's a that could lead to something very interesting. At some points, we meet other like lizard folk too, right?
Just blank stare at them while they're making noises at me.
Like, just
Like,
talk to each other. Like,
the hell's
is
wrong with
lizard
this dude?
retarded? Yeah, what's wrong with him? He just doesn't get it.
You got bumped in the head.
He stayed
All right.
underwater a bit too long.
As a kid.
Sounds great. We have a plan. We have characters. They don't have names. We'll figure it out.
We have a dream.
Yeah, we have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited. Thank you, guys. 3.5 hours.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yes, you're right. To wrap this up is a good choice. Last words.
I need
for the
to go
viewers.
soon as well.
Yeah,
I have a YouTube channel. It's on Solar on YouTube. There we go. Done.
Yeah.
Mr. Max.
And Nicolas Carmago, his channel is I always forgot
At Etera RPG.
Etera. Yeah, ETHERRA.
ETERA.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Etera RPG.
All right, I'll try to put the link next time. I'll be better, and I'll put the link of everybody in the
It's
description.
It's fine. I'm always in the comments anyway.
Yeah. So thank you all guys for joining me on that. Right, I'm excited now. I like that premise. I think it's interesting where we're going with that. And thank you for people that join us and watch this already long session 0, I guess, in chat, and people are gonna watch that on the replay if you want, like maybe some value. Do we have a name for this campaign? Orking time. That's what we're gonna call it. There you go.
Tackling 5e. I don't know. The spearhead, maybe.
Well, we can come up with a thematic name after, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that's something we have to think about as well. It's not orcish enough. And well, I guess we'll get together again in 2 weeks, but we'll talk in the Discord and we'll figure out the little detail. All right.
Fortnite.
Have a good day, all. Have a good rest of the weekend, and take care. Bye.